to get your own sugar angel, mommy. Complete 6,900 likes and comment mommy angel in the comments.
This goddamn bastard is our protagonist, and he has such a skill that all men are desperately crying to get some women too, I guess. One day when he reached school, there was no one, not a single fucking ant. The entire road was empty. Even when he got home, there was no one. His dad had gone to buy milk, but then he noticed something weird as fuck. The clock seemed to have stopped. Not just the clock. The entire world appeared to be frozen. Just then, with a sparkling shine, a goddamn mommy angel with a majestic aura appeared in front of Seo-jun, confirming that the entire Earth had stopped, except for him. This shocked the hell out of him. Seo-jun asked who she was. After pausing dramatically, he sarcastically replied, "A home intruder?" This made the angel furious. While pointing at her beautiful wings, her gorgeous body, and her big milkers, she asked again, "Isn't it obvious?" Seo-jun, completely unfazed, casually replied, "She's definitely a fucking cosplayer." Annoyed as hell, but somehow maintaining her composure, she explained her name was Layla, God's emissary. The reason she had come here was because Seo-jun had been left behind. Hearing the words "left behind" triggered a bad trauma. We got a flashback of how, since childhood, everyone seemed to leave him behind in all situations, like he didn't even exist. Depressed as hell, he fell to the ground. But the big question lingered. Where the hell is the entire Earth's population? Layla explained that Earth was about to change. Monsters and dungeons would come. As of now, humans couldn't defend themselves and needed to gain a system and all that bullshit. That's why God sent the entire population to another world for 10 freaking years to train and level up. Hearing all this, Seo-jun, with dead inside eyes, asked, "What about him?" Layla explained that there was a slight error. Seo-jun's stealth skill was so great that even God missed him and he was left alone. Hearing this, Seo-jun becomes enraged. He screams, "How does a god that stupid even exist?" He collapses onto the floor, groaning, "How can a god that stupid even exist? I have to go to another world to learn." Layla tries to calm him, explaining that the merciful god took pity on him and decided to grant him a bonus. Seo-jun, still lying on the floor like a child, cries, saying he doesn't need a bonus. He just wants to go to the fantasy world. Layla slaps Seo-jun on the back to bring him to his senses. She reassures him, saying that the Earthlings will return in 10 years. Until then, she will take care of him, feeding him and fulfilling his every fantasy. Are you also thinking the same? When Seo-jun asks what he is supposed to do for the next 10 years, Layla smiles kindly and says she will help him train his body to prepare for the catastrophe. Seo-jun protests, saying he can't learn mana or damage monsters. In her charismatic tone, Layla replies that Seo-jun doesn't need mana. He just needs to become physically stronger. Hearing this, Seo-jun's soul practically leaves his body. He stares blankly at the ceiling, muttering, "Is this angel dumb?" Once again, he collapses to the floor, crying, "I have to go to another world." And so, Seo-jun's lonely life on Earth for 1,000 years begins. After that, the scene shifts, revealing that the whole world is empty. Different countries like the USA, Italy, and China are completely devoid of people. There isn't a single person in sight anywhere. Bullet trains stand still in their tracks, abandoned. We come to know that 5 years have passed since humans disappeared from Earth. The focus shifts to Seo-jun, who is running on a treadmill. Not only that, but he diligently trains his legs and chest in the gym. Afterward, he lifts dumbbells and does heavy training. Seo-jun has built a dangerously sculpted six-pack body, ready to beat the shit out of monsters when they finally arrive on Earth. While building his body, Seo-jun reflects on how, while others in another fantasy world were developing mana, restraining monsters, and learning magic, all he could do was work his ass off. Seo-jun spent his time focused solely on strength training, tirelessly lifting dumbbells. Meanwhile, the angel Layla watches him from behind, curiously observing his dedication. At one point, Layla asks, "Hasn't Seo-jun gotten bored of following the same routine for 5 years? How can he do the exact same thing every single day?" Seo-jun, frustrated, replies that he has no choice. There's nothing else he can do. Layla agrees and continues to watch him train. Layla notices that in just 5 years, Seo-jun has developed muscles like a world-class fighter. Not only that, but his body has become damn hot and handsome. His strength has improved drastically, and his patience is astounding. Layla marvels at his focus, thinking to herself how unusual it is for anyone to concentrate so hard on one thing for so long. Curious, Layla asks, "Is Seojun really no ordinary person?" She already knew that Seojun had avoided the eyes of the gods with his legendary strength technique, but she hadn't realized just how talented he truly was. Hearing her mention the strength technique, Seojun is startled. He becomes visibly traumatized as the memories flood back. Layla quickly changes the subject, sensing his discomfort. Afterward, Seojun and Layla have a playful fight. Layla smiles warmly, and Seojun thinks about how she is the only person on Earth he can talk to. This thought brings a warm smile to his face as well. Layla begins visiting Seojun weekly. She prepares all of his meals, and Seojun notices how his table magically fills with food during mealtime. Honestly, he finds the food better than his mom's cooking. As soon as he finishes eating, the dishes disappear and are washed away. Layla had become Seojun's personal maid. Then one day, Seojun tells her that he has pushed his body as far as possible, physically and humanly. Now it's time for him to learn martial arts. Layla points out that there's no one left on Earth to teach him martial arts. Seojun admits he doesn't know how the internet is still running, but he plans to learn martial arts from YouTube. The scene shifts, showing Seojun holding a long stick, practicing spearmanship with intense dedication for hours. From behind, Layla advises him to focus on his basic movements. She reminds him that with 5 years to train, there's no need to push his body so hard. But Seojun pushes himself to the extreme, relentlessly training with unwavering dedication. Layla watches him with a kind smile. 4 years pass, and Seojun masters spearmanship. One day, Layla has an idea. Excitedly, she suggests that sparring with her will help him improve even more quickly. By this time, the relationship between Layla and Seojun has grown strong, and Seojun calls her Nona. However, Seojun pauses and tells Layla not to think that just because she's an angel or a female, he won't hit her. Seojun strongly believes in gender equality. He punches her, declaring that she will now feel the power of his 9 years of loneliness. As Seojun prepares to strike again, Layla, like a true Sigma, effortlessly lifts her hand and throws him far away. The scene shifts to show Seojun's face completely ruined from the encounter. He is beaten and battered. Layla then taunts Seojun, saying that from now on, she will be his trainer. Although Seojun did not want to train with Layla, he had no choice. And so, their intense training began, and 10 years passed by. Layla had dressed Seojun in a suit and boots, confidently stating that as soon as a low-level monster comes to Earth, Seojun will be able to defeat them easily. She emphasized that, because she personally taught him, Seojun would face no difficulty in overcoming them. However, after hearing this, Seojun felt annoyed and remarked that it would be more accurate to say Layla beat him rather than trained him. Hearing his response, Layla gave a warm smile. Looking at Seojun's face for what felt like the last time, she softly said that 10 years had passed by and she hadn't even realized how quickly the time flew. Layla assured him that when the apocalypse comes, she is certain that Seojun will survive. Seojun shook her hand and said that he too would like to meet her again someday. Finally stepping out of his house, Seojun thought about how long it had been since he last saw other people. Nervousness crept over him. Meanwhile, Layla watched from above, reflecting on how spending 10 years with Seojun had created a connection between them. As Layla prepared to leave, Seojun felt a flicker of happiness at the thought of finally meeting other people. However, 10 to 15 minutes passed, and not a single soul came to greet him. The silence was deafening. Seojun realized that something was wrong. Anger boiled within him. He demanded that Layla explain why no one had come yet. Layla, trying to look cute, hesitantly explained that it seemed there had been a small mistake. She said she had just spoken to God, who informed her of a glitch. Hearing this, Seojun's anger erupted. He collapsed to the floor, shaking his hands like a child, overwhelmed by the news. Layla explained that the glitch had caused a disruption in the timeline. Although 10 years had passed on Earth, it might not have been 10 years for other humans. Layla admitted that even she didn't know how long Seojun would have to stay. Hearing this, Seojun started crying. He lamented that he had endured because he believed he only needed to wait 10 years. Now he didn't even know if he would need to wait 10, 20, or even 50 years. In frustration, Seojun declared that even if he had to wait 10,000 years, he would stay and wait until the end. Years turned into decades. 10, 20, 50, and even 70 years passed, yet no humans returned to Earth. The scene shifted to show Seojun living on a mountain, practicing martial arts. With a single punch, He shattered a massive boulder. His eyes were cold-blooded, void of any emotion. Layla observed him from a distance, remarking that Seo-jun had grown far stronger than any normal human, yet there was no expression on his face. Over 60 or 70 years had passed, and Seo-jun had stopped counting time altogether. Concerned, Layla asked him what was wrong. Seo-jun replied that after so many years, he no longer even remembered his mother's face. Damn! Hearing this, Layla felt sad and apologized. She attempted to comfort him, but before she could finish, Seo-jun threw down his martial arts boulder and declared that he was bored of martial arts. Without another word, he began walking away. Layla panicked, fearing that Seo-jun might be considering suicide. She tried to stop him, saying that at any time the people from the other Earth could arrive. Her anxiety grew as she wondered if Seo-jun was so depressed that he might end his life. But Seo-jun reassured her, stating that he knew people would eventually return to Earth. Hearing this, Layla realized that Seo-jun hadn't fallen into despair. Relieved, she happily accompanied him. The scene shifted to a library where Seo-jun was reading books. One by one, he devoured texts on general knowledge, history, geography, physics, chemistry, arts, and fantasy. There wasn't a single book that Seo-jun didn't read. After finishing the library, Seo-jun began touring the world with Layla. Together, they visited famous places, taking pictures along the way. These moments brought happiness to Seo-jun, creating cherished memories of their travels. Decades passed. After 40 to 50 years, Seo-jun had read every book on Earth. Layla was deeply impressed by his dedication. With a gentle expression, she placed her hand on her cheek and asked Seo-jun what he planned to do now that he had read everything. Seo-jun laughed and said there was still much to do before the apocalypse. Hearing this, Layla felt a mix of relief and sadness. Even after hundreds of years, Seo-jun refused to give up. With tears in her eyes, Layla joined her hands and prayed to God. She begged him to send other people to Earth before Seo-jun could fall into complete despair and contemplate suicide. Damn. All these years and didn't smash that Angelacy. Look like Seo-jun's little PP is no peepieing anymore. After that, the scene shifts, and Seo-jun arrives at a dense jungle. There, a massive fat pig stands in his path, which Seo-jun swiftly kills with a single precise spear strike. Following this, Seo-jun shares his journey with us, explaining that after reading every book on Earth, he began studying butchering and blacksmithing. Armed with various tools, Seo-jun delved into the art of butchering, starting with the pig he had just killed. Just like that again, many years passed by, and Layla revealed to us that 274 years had passed since humans left Earth, leaving Seo-jun completely alone. Even for an angel like Layla, the solitude was unbearable. She admitted that if she had been alone, she might have lost her sanity. It amazed her that Seo-jun, a human with a typical lifespan of less than a century, had survived nearly 300 years. While Seo-jun's body remained ageless, his mind showed signs of wear, his mental state aging rapidly. The scene shifted to Seo-jun wearing a psychopathic smile, his mouth smeared with blood, clearly enjoying the act of butchering. For the next 20 to 30 years, he practiced relentlessly, attempting to butcher every animal on Earth. Finally, he stood before a massive sperm whale, determined to butcher it. However, Layla firmly said, no. She warned that killing the whale would ruin Earth's equilibrium. Seo-jun argued that it only needed to be done once, and despite Layla's protests, he proceeded with the task. Once Seo-jun mastered butchering, he moved on to blacksmithing. This new endeavor brought immense frustration, as every sword he crafted repeatedly broke. It took him 5 long years to forge even a shabby sword. When the poorly made weapon was complete, it couldn't even cut a vegetable. Layla picked up the sword, her eyes sparkling with fascination, and teased Seo-jun, remarking that it couldn't even cut a radish. Seo-jun grew irritated at her comments, but Layla continued to admire the sword, holding it with affectionate eyes. Declaring it special because it was Seo-jun's first creation, she promised to keep it safe forever. Laughing to herself, she flew away with the sword, leaving Seo-jun fuming with anger. In private, Layla hugged the sword, cherishing it deeply. She declared that she would treasure it for the rest of her life. Meanwhile, Seo-jun progressed from daggers to spears, axes, and hammers, creating every weapon imaginable. Decades passed, with Seo-jun crafting weapons tirelessly, even watching YouTube tutorials for guidance. After 50 years, Seo-jun still wasn't satisfied with his work. He continued hammering, pouring centuries into perfecting his craft. Finally, After 100 years, Seo-jun created a legendary sword, a masterpiece aligned with his destiny. Layla was astonished, admitting that it was the finest steel weapon she had ever seen, even in heaven. She marveled at how it surpassed the weapons made with mana stones, which would eventually appear on Earth alongside the monsters. Smiling warmly, Layla praised Seo-jun, calling him extraordinary. The scene shifted again to Seo-jun resuming his martial arts training. After mastering butchering and blacksmithing, he dedicated himself to honing his combat skills. Years blurred together as Seo-jun immersed himself in training, hardly noticing the passage of time. Layla observed him quietly, her expression growing more concerned. Thousands of years had passed, and she worried that Seo-jun's limit might soon be reached. She feared what would happen if humans never returned to Earth. The thought of Seo-jun having experienced everything Earth had to offer weighed heavily on her. She realized that as long as Seo-jun found new challenges, he could keep himself occupied. But what would happen when there was nothing left? Suddenly, an idea sparked in Layla's mind. She considered offering Seo-jun something he had never experienced before, something that might reignite his unyielding spirit. Layla realizes that throughout the centuries she has spent with Seo-jun, he has remained a single, virgin, and lonely figure. She blushes at the thought of an opposite-sex relationship being the key to keeping Seo-jun from slipping into depression. The idea sends a tingling sensation across her body. Embarrassed, she starts hitting a tree next to her, murmuring to herself about how ridiculous her thoughts are. "I'm an angel, how could I think of such vulgar things?" Layla whispers in shame, but her mind doesn't rest. She convinces herself that her mission is to help Seo-jun. It's the order of God, after all. With determination, Layla rationalizes her thoughts. "This isn't my desire, it's a duty. If I must entertain Seo-jun to keep him from falling into despair, then so be it." She blushes even harder, mumbling incoherent words as she paces. Meanwhile, Seo-jun looks up at Layla, confused by her mumbling and odd behavior. Finally, he shouts, "What are you doing up there, Layla?" Startled, Layla nervously descends from the tree and approaches Seo-jun. As she steps closer, she finds herself standing inches from his face. The two lock eyes, and for a few tense moments, they can feel each other's breath. Seo-jun breaks the silence, remarking with a straight face, "Layla, you're standing too close." Layla, overcome with shyness, wonders if Seo-jun has figured out her intentions. She panics internally, but before she can respond, Seo-jun points out that the sword she's carrying is shaking violently. Layla looks down at the sword, Seo-jun's first creation, the one she swore to cherish forever. Suddenly, the sword shoots into the air, flying at an insane speed. Layla gasps in shock and immediately takes flight, chasing after it. "I can't lose this," she thinks. This sword isn't just a weapon, it's a symbol of everything Seo-jun has created during his time on Earth. As Layla ascends higher and higher into the atmosphere, something strange begins to happen. The world around them starts to change. A brilliant sparkle surrounds Seo-jun, and objects he had crafted over the centuries begin to vanish. The training dummy disintegrates, and even the sweater Seo-jun is wearing starts to disappear. Seo-jun looks around in disbelief as he realizes the Earth is returning to its original state. Layla, still chasing the sword, finally catches it at the edge of the Earth's atmosphere. She clutches it tightly, praying to God, "Please don't take this from me. This is all I have left of Seo-jun." But as she looks down, she notices the transformation happening below. The Earth is resetting itself. She realizes with a heavy heart that perhaps humanity is returning as well. Suddenly, Seo-jun begins to float into the air, rising at an incredible speed in the opposite direction of Layla. Layla watches in horror, shouting his name, but she can't reach him. Tears begin to well in her eyes as she realizes this might be the end. "This can't be how it ends!" she screams in despair. Layla's voice quivers as she prays to God. "This is too much! You didn't even give me the chance to say goodbye!" Clutching the sword tightly, she watches Seo-jun disappear into the distance. Her heart aches as she reflects on the thousands of years she spent with him. For the first time, she acknowledges how much she has grown to care for Seo-jun. In her final moments on Earth, Layla whispers to herself, "At least I have his sword." But as she vanishes into the air, she lets out a frustrated sigh and says, "In the end, we didn't even kiss." And just like that, Layla disappears. Meanwhile, Seo-jun feels a profound sadness as he floats away. He regrets not giving Layla a proper farewell. As he reflects on the 1,000 years they spent together, he realizes that Layla was the only reason he didn't fall into despair. Her presence gave him purpose. Seo-jun vows to meet her again someday. He wonders if becoming a higher being like Layla would allow him to see her one last time in heaven. Both Seo-jun and Layla are left with heavy hearts, yearning to meet each other again. And damn, how in God's name did Seo-jun survive 1,000 years without even masturbating? After that, the scene shifts, and we see the world slowly returning to normal. People who had vanished on the streets resume walking. Students return to their schools as if no time has passed. The metro begins operating again, and everything appears as it was before. The earth has regained its rhythm. Seo-jun finds himself standing in the exact spot where he started his journey 1,000 years ago. Time seems to have come full circle. As Seo-jun opens his eyes, a system notification appears before him, displaying his status. The title, Cosmic Loner, is prominently shown, along with his stats: Strength 72, Health 78, Detox 81. His active skill, Stealth, is at max level, a skill that cannot be removed. Additionally, Seo-jun has received a special bonus. Every time he levels up, his stats will increase by 5 points, a true game changer. As Seo-jun processes the information, he realizes that the Earth has indeed reverted to its former state. Looking around, he hears people talking about finally returning to Earth after 10 years. Seo-jun, however, knows the truth. For him, it wasn't 10 years, it was 1,000 years. Yet the other humans don't seem happy. Their stats and levels have been reset to level 1. Seo-jun is surprised to see that while his level is also 1, his stats remain intact. This anomaly confuses him further, but then he notices something strange. Despite being surrounded by a crowd, no one acknowledges Seo-jun's presence. Finally, Seo-jun examines his status window carefully and discovers the reason. His max-level stealth skill ensures that he remains unnoticed, even by gods. Seo-jun realizes that this skill is the reason why he has always been invisible to others, even since his childhood. No matter how hard he tries, he cannot deactivate the skill. Frustrated, he grabs his head and screams, "Am I truly destined to be alone forever?" Sadness engulfs him. Seo-jun walks home, his emotions in turmoil. He feels a bittersweet joy at seeing humans again, but wonders if he can ever fully connect with them. Arriving at his house, Seo-jun anticipates seeing his mother for the first time in 1,000 years. However, he's nervous. He has forgotten her face. When Seo-jun steps inside, his mother immediately calls his name. For the first time in a millennium, Seo-jun sees his mother. She becomes overwhelmed with emotion, rushing to embrace him. Seo-jun feels a flood of memories returning, and tears well up in his eyes. An emotional scene unfolds between mother and son. Seo-jun's mother lovingly cups his cheeks, and they share a warm hug. The smells of dinner cooking in the kitchen, the sizzling sound from the frying pan, and his father reading the newspaper at the dining table, all of it is as it used to be. Yet something feels slightly off. Seo-jun's father, while reading the news, comments about the absence of information on the Hysan country in the paper. This piques his mother's curiosity, and she asks if Seo-jun's father had been in Hysan country during their time in the fantasy world. She mentions her own place called Yamen. Seo-jun feels increasingly awkward as the conversation shifts to their experiences in the fantasy world. His father recounts how Hysan was a perfect place, except for one problem: there was no rice. He also struggled to control mana, describing it as an impossible task. Seo-jun's mother agrees, saying she too couldn't figure out mana manipulation. Then his mother turns her attention to Seo-jun, asking him which country he had been in. Seo-jun begins sweating profusely, his nose watering. Panic grips him as he recalls the 1,000 years he spent alone with a Parvi angel, Layla. Seo-jun decides it's best to hide the truth. He stammers and tells his mother that he was in a place so remote that even he doesn't know its name. Seo-jun's heart races as he tries to dodge further questions, his mind consumed with memories of Layla and the 1,000 years they shared. After hearing this, Seo-jun's dad remarks that the mana thing was extremely difficult, and he couldn't manage it. Seo-jun's mom adds that while mana wasn't as challenging for her, there was one big issue. In the other world, even babies, pregnant women, and elderly men were forced to work hard for 10 years. She expresses that it might have been better if only the younger people were sent to the other world. Seo-jun listens and tries to explain, saying that if certain people had been left behind on Earth, the equilibrium would have been ruined, leaving them isolated. But before he can finish, Seo-jun abruptly stops, realizing he cannot reveal his past experiences. His mom, noticing his hesitation, questions him, asking what he means by 1,000 years and equilibrium balance. Seo-jun awkwardly brushes it off, claiming that he hasn't slept well since arriving in the other world, and that's why he's speaking nonsense. His mom, excited by the conversation, eagerly tells Seo-jun that she's heard of people earning huge sums of money by mastering mana and hunting monsters. She explains that monster corpses are incredibly valuable. Seo-jun's dad agrees, stating that the Earth's impending changes mean people with mana will become highly valuable assets, as the old systems and structures will be replaced entirely. Only those with mana will thrive in this new world. Seo-jun, however, feels deeply awkward listening to his parents fantasizing about mana and powers. Saddened, Seo-jun decides to share a serious truth with them. In a solemn tone, Seo-jun admits that he cannot use mana. His parents pause for a moment, their expressions serious. Then his mom bursts into laughter, reassuring Seo-jun in a kind tone that it's not a big deal. She points out that neither she nor his dad can use mana, so it's only natural that Seo-jun might not have inherited the ability. She tells him to simply focus on his studies. Seo-jun's dad, with a chuckle, claims he always suspected this outcome. He jokes that their bad genes might have been passed on to Seo-jun. The three share a light-hearted moment, laughing together. Seo-jun's mom begins recounting her experiences in the other world, while Seo-jun expresses his happiness at finally being reunited with his family. Later, Seo-jun heads to his room, only to be shocked. Everything Seo-jun had crafted over the years has disappeared. Everything except the 1,000-year-old blacksmith weapon he made. Seo-jun, puzzled, wonders why it alone remains. He had assumed it would vanish when the world reset. Suspecting that Layla might have done something, Seo-jun begins practicing martial arts and spearmanship with the weapon, testing its power against beginner-level monsters. As Seo-jun inspects the spear, its stats catch his attention. The weapon is of unique grade, boasting an attack power of 800 and a durability of 500. Seo-jun is stunned. It's a miracle that such a weapon was forged by a human, using steel alone without mana's aid. The spear's strength and steadiness make it appear as though it were crafted from a dragon's bone. Still, Seo-jun sits at his desk, unsure if these stats truly reflect the weapon's potential. Turning to the internet, he searches for more information about weapons created by those who returned from the other world. Seo-jun learns that leveling up is the primary focus in this transformed world. He discovers that an average person can only battle monsters up to 5 levels higher than their own. For instance, the first monsters to appear, slimes, are weak and easily defeated with normal weapons. Seo-jun notes that one must be at level 7 to qualify as a lower-ranked soldier, while level 10 unlocks basic classes like swordsman or archer. Reaching level 50 makes a person strong enough for second-class advancement, and level 100 opens the door to third-class advancement, marking someone as a national treasure. Beyond this, the grueling conditions for fourth-class advancement are so intense that no one has been documented achieving it. Seo-jun reads that legendary monsters, such as dragons or Bahamets, are believed to exist at these levels. Pondering this information, Seo-jun contemplates returning to school, wondering if the education system will even remain functional in this new world. He reflects on how life seems normal now, but senses deep within that monumental changes are imminent. Feeling a pang of sadness, Seo-jun thinks about how much he misses Layla. As soon as Layla crosses his mind, a voice interrupts, teasing that Layla would be glad to hear that Seo-jun misses her. Startled, Seo-jun snaps into alert mode, scanning his surroundings and demanding to know who spoke. To his astonishment, a petite, angelic figure appears before him, introducing herself as Martha. She claims to have been sent from heaven to help Seo-jun acclimate to mana. Seo-jun, now visibly agitated, shouts at the intruder. His eyes widen in disbelief as he takes in her appearance. Martha, tiny yet exuding an aura of divine authority, explains that she is not an intruder, but an angel sent to assist him. Seo-jun, however, is left speechless. The realization dawns on him. Another intruder has entered his life. But what in the name of holy moly? The angel's size is around my dick size. Eartha explained that mana is hard to manage, which is why God sent her to assist Seo-jun. Seo-jun, with an annoyed face, tells Eartha that he doesn't need her help and she can leave. However, Eartha claims that someone begged God like crazy to help Seo-jun, so God sent her, an angel, to assist the one left behind on Earth and familiarize him with mana. Hearing this, Seo-jun immediately realizes that it must have been his beloved Layla. He asks why Layla didn't come herself. Eartha explains that the higher-ups were concerned about an angel and a human becoming too close, so they chose her instead of Layla. Observing Seo-jun carefully, Eartha becomes confused. She checks Seo-jun's entire body, reviewing his stats, and claims that Layla's reports are different from what she can see. Eartha grows extremely annoyed, thinking Seo-jun can easily destroy a low-rank monster with just his fists. She remembers Layla crying like a pup, claiming that Seo-jun was a helpless loner who did nothing for 1,000 years, and that he was the only one who couldn't use mana. Layla even begged God to help, saying Seo-jun really needed support or he would die. Eartha realizes that love can change a person. She thinks to herself, wasn't Layla supposed to be an innocent angel, not a cunning fox? Eartha then tells Seo-jun that she will support him with mana usage. She explains that her presence around Seo-jun will help him become accustomed to mana. Since he already spent 1,000 years with Layla, he should be able to gain mana by next year. Seo-jun, hearing this, makes an annoyed face and asks if Eartha will be staying with him. Eartha confirms with a calm tone that she will be with him 24 hours a day. She reassures Seo-jun not to worry because she cast a spell to prevent others from seeing her. However, Seo-jun wasn't worried about others seeing her. He was horrified by the realization that Eartha would be with him even in his private bathroom time. His mind flashes to the 1.7 terabytes of Johnny Boy and his plumber story collection that he wouldn't be able to watch. Seo-jun grows furious beyond measure. Damn nah, bro got 1.7 terabytes worth porn for the whole country. Suddenly, Eartha, with a disgusted face, claims she doesn't care what a lower being like Seo-jun does. Seo-jun wonders if Eartha can read his mind. Maintaining her disgusted face, Eartha tells Seo-jun she really doesn't care if he breakdances, Zumbas, Oregon plays DDR with his little PP. Seo-jun feels damn shy, thinking that he does care. Seo-jun starts complaining again, saying he doesn't want her to be with him, but Eartha, with a smirking smile, reminds him that as a higher being, she doesn't care about what a lower being does for amusement. This only makes Seo-jun feel more embarrassed, especially when he notices her smirking smile. Seo-jun finally shouts that he misses Layla, but Eartha tells him bluntly to give up. The next day, Seo-jun heads to school, annoyed as Eartha sits on his head, swinging her legs carelessly. This behavior irritates Seo-jun to no end. As he walks, he notices patrolling soldiers in the area. Seo-jun realizes that life will never be normal again. His school is no longer a place for learning, but a hub for guiding students on how to deal with the level 1 slimes that are set to invade Earth very soon. As Seo-jun attends class, he is once again invisible. Eartha smugly points out that Seo-jun's stealth skill is far superior to anyone else's. Using this skill, Seo-jun decides to eavesdrop on others to gather information. He overhears discussions about an empress who is famous in another world and about the concept of dungeons. Curious, Seo-jun asks Eartha about these dungeons. Eartha explains that a dungeon is a trap created by God. First, God places food inside the dungeon to lure monsters, trapping them. In addition, God places rewards within these dungeons to tempt humans into entering. Humans kill the monsters to claim the rewards, while the dungeon system automatically clears the monsters inside. Humans, she says, can go in and out freely, making it an effective training ground. Seo-jun then suggests keeping the monsters trapped in these dungeons forever. However, Eartha explains that dungeons don't last indefinitely. Over time, they cease to exist. Moreover, there are monsters too powerful to be trapped. These beasts can break barriers and create their own dungeons, making them far more dangerous. Eartha encourages Seo-jun to hunt monsters to train his mana. The current monsters are weak, but over time, they will grow stronger. Seo-jun, however, worries about his inability to defeat monsters, especially without mana. Finally, the Fatso teacher enters the class, beginning a lecture on how to deal with slimes. The teacher's voice is monotone, yet the urgency of the topic looms over the classroom. Eartha, continuing her observations, points out Seo-jun's superior physique. She claims Seo-jun could defeat monsters up to level 25 with ease, as his stats are nothing like those of a level 1 human. Suddenly, the atmosphere grows tense. Eartha stops mid-sentence, her expression shifting to alarm. She senses something and tells Seo-jun that it's time to test his skills now. Before Seo-jun can react, giant insects appear outside, their menacing figures ready to destroy the school. Everyone was panicking as they saw the monsters and the dying people outside. The panic erupted when they noticed a huge-ass 10-foot grasshopper, definitely not some small slime they could ignore. The students screamed and started running in every direction. Chaos broke out, and as expected, everyone left Seo-jun alone. Even Eartha was surprised, despite witnessing this kind of scene for the second time. But then, Seo-jun's 1000 years of inner survival instinct kicked in. Seo-jun noticed his shitty school desk, which he always hated, and thought quickly. Seo-jun muttered to himself that the huge grasshopper looked weaker than a sperm whale, so his makeshift weapon should work. Eartha, curious about what Seo-jun would do next, observed closely. Seo-jun broke a chair leg, started swinging it around, and began sharpening it with focus. Eartha, watching Seo-jun's swift movements, was impressed by his craftsmanship, which was totally different from what Layla had reported. Seo-jun's core strength was astonishing. In mere seconds, Seo-jun transformed the chair leg into a sharp and durable spear. With just one swing, a shockwave emanated from the spear, leaving Eartha shocked. Seo-jun was satisfied with his newly made weapon. Eartha even complimented Seo-jun, saying it was a decent weapon and his craftsmanship was quite good. Seo-jun blushed slightly at the compliment, but Eartha, on the other hand, was annoyed again. She thought about how Layla had begged her, claiming Seo-jun was a pathetic, poor soul who couldn't do anything and didn't even know how to wipe his own ass. But reality was totally different from what Layla had said. Eartha continued observing Seo-jun as he sharpened his makeshift spear with his bare hands. She couldn't help but admire his body, which was the peak result of extreme training. Eartha was genuinely impressed. Seo-jun, on the other hand, satisfied with his work, prepared 3 more spears and decided to hide his identity. Outside, the insects continued wreaking havoc, destroying everything in sight. Suddenly, a masked Seo-jun emerged, swiftly murdering a monster with a bang. He had simply landed on the insect, and it died immediately. Even Seo-jun was confused about how the insect had died so easily. As the system notified Seo-jun of his level up and stat points, he could feel his power increasing. For the first time, he experienced the excitement of leveling up. More insects swarmed, but Seo-jun easily destroyed them. Flying insects attacked, but with a single throw of his spear, he completely obliterated them. Seo-jun soon descended into a frenzy, slaughtering monster after monster like a madman. One mosquito attempted to pierce Seo-jun with its huge-ass stinger, but it couldn't even penetrate his skin. Instead, the insect's stinger bent. Eartha, watching this unfold, was shocked and realized that Seo-jun's body had surpassed the limits of a human. Seo-jun soon found himself surrounded by insects. However, he wiped them out as easily as a kid drinking his mommy's milkers. The system continued to notify Seo-jun of his progress, revealing that he had killed level 6 and level 9 monsters, gaining huge experience and leveling up. Just as Seo-jun started to catch his breath, a bolt of lightning struck, surprising him. The lightning annihilated the remaining monsters in an instant. From the shadows, a masked woman appeared, but something about her mask was off. What the hell was wrong with that mask? Seo-jun was amazed seeing a mage in reality for the first time, but Eartha quickly reminded him that there were still monsters left. The masked woman effortlessly disintegrated the insects with her lightning, while Seo-jun continued slashing them with precision, leaving all the students in awe. Just then, the army arrived to take control of the situation, but they were shocked to see that the monsters were already dead. They noticed a weird masked boy with his whole hand inside the insect's ass, doing God knows what. Well, Seo-jun was actually dismembering the monsters for mana stones. As Seo-jun continued to butcher the monsters, the system notified him that his butchering level had reached maximum. Everyone watched in shocked silence as Seo-jun worked with the precision of an expert. Finally, Seo-jun discovered a crystal, and Eartha explained that it was a mana stone. But Seo-jun was so immersed in butchering that he didn't realize people were making videos of him and cheering loudly. Seo-jun was startled. This was the first time he had ever received so much attention. Eartha calmly explained to Seo-jun not to worry, reassuring him that his mask would keep his identity safe. However, just then, the Emperor arrived wearing her weird-ass mask. While touching her hair, she asked Seo-jun in a calm but commanding voice if he would help her with the slaughtering. Seo-jun asks the Empress how much he will earn from butchering, and she responds, 40%. Hearing this, Seo-jun immediately starts butchering. Meanwhile, the crowd's attention shifts to the Empress, and they begin drooling over her. Many seem ready to endure her lightning bolt just to get closer, leaving the girlfriends of these admirers furious. The crowd praises the Empress's dangerous lightning bolt, but soon their attention turns back to Seo-jun. They try to recall which weapon he used but can't agree. Some claim he was shooting a beam with his hand, while others swear it was a lightsaber or axe. In reality, Seo-jun's stealth skill was so exceptional that no one could see what he truly wielded. Thinking about this, Seo-jun feels disheartened and starts crying again. Eartha, however, encourages him, saying it's a blessing that no one can notice him. She even jokes that Seo-jun could use his stealth for mischievous deeds. Ignoring her, Seo-jun focuses on butchering the monsters, extracting mana stones, and handing them over to the Empress. Just as Seo-jun prepares to leave, military men intercept him, stating they need to interrogate him. Before they can act, a lightning bolt strikes from behind. Assuming it was Seo-jun, they prepare to retaliate. But the Empress steps in, commanding Seo-jun to leave in her serious tone. The crowd breaks into a song of praise for the Empress once more. Taking advantage of the chaos, Seo-jun discreetly grabs his loot and departs. Standing in front of the crowd, Seo-jun realizes that even though he's right there, no one can see him. Frustrated, he yells that he's in front of them, but the crowd assumes he has run away like lightning. This situation leaves Seo-jun feeling sad again, despite being an introvert who should relish invisibility. Eartha consoles him, telling him not to overthink. Later, the scene shifts to Seo-jun sitting in a park with all his loot. Eartha asks him what he plans to do with the monster parts. Seo-jun reveals that he intends to craft full monster armor. Eartha taunts him, suggesting he find a trusted blacksmith, but Seo-jun smirks, stating no one can outmatch his skills. Annoyed, Eartha recalls how Layla described Seo-jun as pathetic, claiming he couldn't even cook. Meanwhile, Seo-jun starts blushing at the mention of Layla and asks Eartha if she's missing her too. Eartha admits she misses Layla, but only to punch her for lying. Skeptical about Seo-jun's capabilities, Eartha asks if he knows anything about mana crafting. Seo-jun confesses he has no clue, prompting Eartha to declare she will teach him. Seo-jun gets excited, but in his enthusiasm, he accidentally touches Eartha in her no-no zone. Eartha's body tingles, and she feels violated and angry. She scolds Seo-jun, vowing not to teach him until he learns to behave. However, her shyness kicks in as she explains the basics of mana crafting. She tells Seo-jun that it involves using mana crystals, similar to magic stones, to create artifacts that grant special powers to items like armor and weapons. Hearing this, Seo-jun's excitement peaks, but Eartha, still flustered, angrily decides to confront Layla. Furious, she swears to tell Layla to control her man. Afterward, Eartha explains that Seo-jun needs to create his gear using the monster materials near the mana stone of the same monster. She elaborates that he should powder the mana stone and sprinkle it on the equipment like salt to achieve powerful enchanted gear. Eartha warns that this process will be difficult, but Seo-jun confidently claims, "I won't know until I try." Eartha further explains that gear can be infused with different abilities and effects. Without hesitation, Seo-jun immediately begins crafting gear. In a matter of seconds, he skillfully creates arm and knee guards, leaving Eartha stunned. Seo-jun wastes no time and starts the enchantment process. He grinds the mana stone into powder and begins sprinkling it over the equipment. Closing his eyes, Seo-jun imagines the appearance of the gear he desires. Eartha watches in awe as she realizes how talented Seo-jun truly is. She dares to believe he might succeed on his first try. However, Eartha notices a problem. Seo-jun's mana stone is not enough. Recognizing the issue, Eartha steps in, channeling her own mana to assist him. With a whoosh, the enchantment process is complete. Seo-jun succeeds and successfully crafts his gear. Impressed, Eartha looks at Seo-jun and wonders if his talent might exceed even her expectations. As soon as Seo-jun completes the enchantment, a strong aura envelops his entire body. The system notifies Seo-jun that his mana crafting level has increased to level 2. Eartha watches in awe, initially unsure if the enchantment succeeded, but her doubts vanish as Seo-jun confidently wears his enchanted armor. With a slight turn of his hand, a thick iron rod is cleanly cut in two. It's then revealed that Seo-jun has integrated the grasshopper's scythe into his armor as a weapon. Eartha is shocked by his ingenuity, exclaiming that combining a monster's attack ability into armor is not normal. But before Eartha can express her thoughts, Seo-jun suddenly runs off after realizing his attack destroyed the park. The scene shifts to news reports where Seo-jun, referred to as Hussein Bolt, is depicted alongside a photo of the Empress. The military issues a notice to report sightings of them. Meanwhile, as Seo-jun prepares to hunt monsters, his mother expresses concern, sensing danger outside. Eartha and Seo-jun realize that his mother has an uncanny ability to sense him from a distance. Seo-jun, annoyed by her extreme surveillance, reflects that he can't even relax in his room without her knowing. Eartha suggests this could be a mother's skill, something innate and highly useful for survival. Seo-jun imagines himself trapped among crowds, only for his mother to immediately locate him. Eartha then asks Seo-jun if he's considering joining the government unit, but Seo-jun firmly states that he prefers working alone. However, Seo-jun mentions his desire to meet the empress. Hearing this, Eartha's face contorts in disgust, and she teasingly asks if Seo-jun is interested in the empress. Seo-jun denies this with an annoyed expression, explaining he's not currently interested in women. Eartha, ever mischievous, smirks and insinuates, "Could you be gay?" Seo-jun, visibly flustered, vehemently denies it, shouting, "I'm not gay, I'm straight!" Despite his loud outburst, Seo-jun's godlike stealth skill ensures no one notices him, leaving him relieved yet embarrassed. Seo-jun then admits there's only one reason he's not interested in other women: Layla. Eartha sarcastically agrees, saying that after living with a super angel beauty for 1,000 years, so yes, Seo-jun will become gay for any other women, it can't be helped. Eartha, however, points out that Seo-jun's ability to incorporate a monster's traits into armor without mana is legendary, even if Seo-jun himself remains unaware of how special he truly is. Suddenly, Eartha senses a pack of monsters nearby, 70 wolves and wild dogs, all around level 35. Seo-jun is shocked and questions why such high-level monsters are appearing on the second day of the apocalypse. Eartha reveals that the first day of the apocalypse should have started with slimes, but the arrival of level 10 monsters had already raised her concerns. When Seo-jun asks why Eartha hadn't voiced her worries earlier, she responds with a disgusted look, dismissively saying she didn't want to share her worries with a lowly being. Seo-jun, annoyed by Eartha's rude behavior, compares her to Layla. He thinks Eartha seems like an arrogant rich girl, quick to draw lines between classes. In contrast, Layla, while sometimes foolish, had the kindness of an older sister. Lost in his thoughts of Layla, Seo-jun briefly smiles. Breaking the moment, Eartha's tone turns serious as she tells Seo-jun that the Earth is far from normal and insists that she needs his help. As Seo-jun hears Eartha's explanation, his condition worsens. The thought of Earth being in danger unsettles him deeply. Eartha, sensing the urgency, sits on Seo-jun's head and commands him to start running while she explains everything along the way. As Seo-jun runs, Eartha begins, "God teleported all humans to another world because of the approaching apocalypse and trained everyone to use mana. However, God left the animals on Earth untouched, thinking they could survive for 10 years without care." She continues, her tone more serious. "But due to an unknown error, the flow of time on Earth was severely distorted. What should have been 10 years in another world became 1,000 years on Earth." Eartha explains further, her voice laced with concern. "Because of those 1,000 years, the monsters on Earth evolved dangerously. When mana was introduced, they became even stronger." Hearing this, Seo-jun is shocked. His mind reels as he processes the fact that he spent 1,000 years alone. He thinks of Layla, remembering her sweet smell and kind presence. Without her, he realizes, he wouldn't have survived. Lost in his thoughts, Seo-jun's pace falters, but Eartha grabs his hair and shouts, "Focus, Seo-jun! Come back to your senses!" Eartha presses on, her voice grave. "To sum it up, the monsters on Earth now are far stronger than those in the other world." Seo-jun's gaze sharpens as he sees bloodthirsty wolves and dogs, each 10 times their normal size, devouring humans with bloody mouths. Seo-jun dons his mask, and with a dash, he charges into the fray. The wolves attack him, but Seo-jun easily dodges their moves and pulls out his spear. Eartha, though impressed, is skeptical, wondering if Seo-jun can handle them. Seo-jun, however, leaps into the air and upon landing, kills 15 to 20 wolves instantly. The system notifies Seo-jun that he has gained 12,000 experience points and is the first person to kill a level 35 brown diamond wolf on Earth. Seo-jun reaches level 9 and his stats increase significantly. Eartha, shocked, exclaims, "You're incredible!" But her tone quickly changes as she teasingly asks, "Seo-jun, are you a pervert?" This sparks a cute fight between the two, but Seo-jun quickly focuses back on the battle. With a flick of his spear, he eliminates more oversized dogs. Meanwhile, a group of low-level hunters attempts to fight the wolves using level 5 magic like fireballs, but their attacks are ineffective. Seo-jun steps in, effortlessly killing another wolf and saving one of the hunters, earning him admiration. The system notifies Seo-jun again. He has reached level 10, enabling him to advance his class. The crowd begins to recognize his mask, whispering that he must be Sung Gainbolt, the mysterious figure who disappears in an instant. Though Seo-jun is pleased, he finds the nickname lousy and annoying. Eartha congratulates Seo-jun, but he brushes it off, determined to continue. As he slaughters the wolves one by one, his confidence grows. Despite his dismissive words, Seo-jun's blushing face betrays his happiness, something Eartha doesn't fail to notice. Suddenly, the wolf leader appears, holding a human hostage. The crowd's excitement turns to fear as they witness the standoff. Eartha warns Seo-jun that this could be a tough fight, but Seo-jun smirks. He prepares his spear and declares, "No one can stop me now." Seo-jun grips his spear tightly, standing ready, his body tensed for action. Behind him, the crowd pulls out their phones, recording his every move while cheering him on. Meanwhile, Artha observes the scene and reflects that, depending on the choice Seo-jun makes, he could either become a hero or a villain. But Seo-jun doesn't give a damn shit about such titles. Without hesitation, he dashes forward, his movements swift and precise. With a single lethal strike, he kills the wolf chief, throwing his spear to take out the wolf and save the man in danger. Standing tall amidst the chaos, Seo-jun calmly considers his actions. If someone is in danger and he has the power to save them, then he will. However, he knows his limits and only acts within them. Seo-jun doesn't see himself as a hero. He considers himself just a normal person. Artha, observing this, feels a pang of second-hand cringe. Seo-jun, noticing the reaction, quietly muses that finally, after so long, he managed to say something he thought sounded cool, even if it clearly didn't land as intended. Yet the wolves are far from finished. As more wolves charge toward him, Seo-jun remains calm. Weaponless, he smirks and reminds himself that his spear isn't his only weapon. Years of training have prepared him for moments like this. His voice booms with confidence as he punches a wolf, killing it instantly. Every movement reflects the result of 1,000 years of relentless training under the Queen of Combat. Seo-jun's command over the Kesar wolves is undeniable. On the other hand, Artha watches with serious and dedicated focus. He recognizes that Seo-jun doesn't act recklessly or sacrifice himself to save others. Instead, Seo-jun is a master of quick, calculated judgments, always choosing the most efficient action for the moment. Artha quietly acknowledges that Layla, over 1,000 years, has truly raised an incredible force of nature. However, as Artha continues to observe, he realizes that the combat abilities Seo-jun is demonstrating now aren't merely Layla's teachings. These are skills Seo-jun himself honed through his own relentless efforts. Meanwhile, a fan in the crowd wearing a cap watches in AW. He proclaims to those around him that Seo-jun's entire body is his weapon. Every punch, kick, and move he executes is calculated and effective. One by one, the wolves fall to the ground. As the battle reaches its peak, Seo-jun takes a chop that sends him collapsing to the ground. In an instant, all the wolves around him drop dead as well. Just as the crowd erupts in celebration, the mood shifts dramatically. A military woman emerges from the shadows, a gun pressed firmly against Seo-jun's neck. Calling his name with authority, "Sung," she catches his attention. Seo-jun turns slowly, his sharp eyes locking on her, noting the entire military unit surrounding him. The crowd, initially jubilant, now grows furious. They shout in outrage, demanding answers from the soldiers. "Why are you pointing a gun at him? He killed all the monsters! He saved us!" The crowd roars, their voices echoing with anger and confusion. Seo-jun stands silent but alert, his presence commanding the attention of both the military and the crowd, as the tension in the air becomes almost unbearable. Seo-jun stands calmly amidst the chaos, his spear firmly in hand, surrounded by the aftermath of his battle. The military woman surveys the scene, her eyes widening as she notices that Seo-jun has single-handedly killed all the wolves. She's baffled because, despite the military being present, none of them saw how he managed it. Without hesitation, Seo-jun sits in front of the monstrous wolf chief and begins his butchering, his movements precise and deliberate. The military woman approaches Seo-jun, her voice firm yet apologetic. She explains that they weren't intending to shoot him, but had mistaken him for a monster. She apologizes once more and clarifies that the entire military had been searching for him. They want to recruit him. However, before she can finish her sentence, Seo-jun vanishes. Startled, the military personnel exchange glances, realizing that the rumors about Seo-jun being faster than Flash might actually be true. Moments later, the military woman glances to her left and spots Seo-jun, engrossed in his butchering. Determined, she tries to convince him to join the military. Seo-jun refuses without hesitation. When asked if he harbors resentment toward the military, Seo-jun plainly states that he prefers to work alone. In truth, he finds the idea of joining the military overly restrictive and a hindrance to his efficiency. Eartha silently agrees with Seo-jun's decision, but as soon as Seo-jun senses Eartha reading his thoughts again, his annoyance flares. Seo-jun mutters to himself that Eartha should stay out of his mind. Eartha shrugs nonchalantly, stating she doesn't care about the thoughts of a solitary being. Seo-jun reiterates that working with the government would only limit his potential, solidifying his stance on working alone. As Seo-jun continues his butchering, the military woman speaks to her comrade, frustrated and slightly humiliated. She laments that no one has ever spoken to her so rudely and contemplates quitting her job. However, her mood suddenly shifts as she becomes determined to recruit Seo-jun. A bold idea crosses her mind. If it means securing his talents, she'll do whatever it takes. Seo-jun, maintaining his composed demeanor, bluntly tells the military that if they want the wolves butchered, he'll handle it. But he demands 50% of all proceeds, including mana stones. The military woman has no choice but to agree. As she watches him work, she notices Seo-jun's legendary skill. She recorded Seo-jun's butchering in full HD, every slash and strike captured perfectly. With a sly smirk, she sent the video to her superiors. After reviewing it, her superior, clearly impressed, said to do everything to make this guy work for the government, even if she have to fucking seduce him. As Seo-jun finishes his task, he approaches Han holding 2 mana stones he retrieved. Seo-jun wonders aloud if consuming the stones would enhance his mana. Eartha strongly advises against it, warning that the dark aura from the monster could corrupt him. Seo-jun, skeptical of Eartha's caution, contemplates ignoring her advice, feeling a strong inclination to test the stones. Time passes, and Han continues to pay Seo-jun handsomely, handing him 37 million won. However, in a bold move, Han loosens her uniform, revealing her blushing face and seductively offers Seo-jun more than just money. She declares she's willing to do anything he needs, even going out with him. Han, confident in her beauty, recalls how people once flocked to her for attention. But Seo-jun doesn't even blink. He ignores her entirely, treating her with the indifference of a middle child in a bustling family. Embarrassed and confused, Han calls out to him, but Seo-jun doesn't stop. Instead, he vanishes, disappearing as swiftly as he arrived. Han stands in stunned silence, marveling at his speed and presence, or rather, his lack thereof. She realizes that no matter what she does, Seo-jun remains utterly unfazed. She hasn't reached Layla's level of beauty, and thus there's no chance of awakening Seo-jun's interest or his little baby. It was time for him to choose his new class. Seo-jun stood in front of the system notification, observing the numerous classes available. Lancer, Graveler, Swordsman, there were a lot of options. Seo-jun scanned through, looking for RPG classes. He noticed Assassin listed among them. Seo-jun thought that if he selected Assassin, it would enhance his stealth skill even more. However, he wanted to get rid of his stealth skill for now. Eartha explained to Seo-jun that since he did not have mana yet, he was unable to control his stealth skill properly. Seo-jun pondered aloud, thinking that choosing a class to increase his mana might be interesting. Eartha, however, recommended the Lancer class, explaining that both Lancer and Graveler would enhance his spear skills and raw strength. But Seo-jun recalled how Layla had trained him like a Lancer based on his physical strength. Memories of enduring Layla's training, where he could barely stand for 5 minutes despite training for 1,000 years, flashed through his mind. After a long contemplation, Seo-jun decided he wanted a class that would increase both his mana and strength. Eartha reminded him that he could choose a subclass later, making the decision less critical. Finally, Seo-jun opted for the Lancer class as he genuinely enjoyed spear play. At that moment, something strange occurred. A new secret class appeared. Surprised, Seo-jun informed Eartha of the new class called Blood Lancer. Hearing this, Eartha was shocked. She grew serious and told Seo-jun that this was a modified, unique job, specific only to him. Confused, Seo-jun asked what a unique job meant. Eartha explained that while most classes were common, available to other hunters, this unique class was exclusive to him. No one else in the world could possess it. Realizing its value, Seo-jun decided to select Blood Lancer. As soon as he made his choice, the system notified Seo-jun of the selection. It revealed that in stealth mode, his attack would increase by 10%, further enhancing his stealth skill. This realization hit Seo-jun hard. In Korea, Blood and Blur sounded similar, and by choosing Blood Lancer, he had inadvertently upgraded the skill he wanted to rid himself of. Eartha was equally startled by this development, unsure of what to say. Frustrated, Seo-jun yelled at Eartha, expressing his dissatisfaction with the class. Eartha reminded him that he was different from others and that confusion was inevitable. Suddenly, Seo-jun felt a strange sensation within his body. His physique began to evolve. His six-pack abs became more defined, and his entire body felt significantly stronger. Seo-jun realized his power had almost doubled. Eartha explained that this transformation was due to the new class. The system displayed his updated stats: Strength 96, HP 98, Dexterity 102, and Mana 21. Earlier, Seo-jun's mana had been just 2, but it had increased to 21. Seo-jun reluctantly accepted the changes. However, Eartha dropped another bomb. Because of his unique class, Seo-jun would require double the experience points to level up. Normally, if he were level 50, the same effort would only make him level 25 with this class. Eartha smiled mischievously, telling Seo-jun that while a normal person would struggle, Seo-jun was anything but ordinary. Hearing this, Seo-jun began to blush. Eartha grinned at him and commented that while he was a lower being, Seo-jun was undoubtedly worth watching. Just then, a loud roar erupts from outside, sending waves of fear through the citizens. Everyone is terrified because standing before them is a gigantic bear, something far beyond their ability to kill. Normally, the citizens would be at level 5, but the monsters appearing here have escalated dramatically, now coming in at level 50. The deafening roar reverberates through the air, and despite the fear, the citizens become excited, determined to take on the challenge of killing the bear. They grab their spears and stand ready, prepared to face the colossal beast. Seo-jun notices how the army desperately fires their guns at the giant bear, shooting like madmen, but to no avail. The bear, like a titan, smashes buildings and hurls them toward the soldiers. The highest level soldier present was barely at level 10, while the bear's level was a formidable 55. Weapons had no effect on the bear as it wreaked havoc across the city. Raising its massive paw, the bear roared as if proclaiming itself the king, undefeated and unchallenged. Watching the chaos, Seo-jun puts on his mask and remarks that the bear seems to be having too much fun. Eartha, observing from her spot, comments that the bear is a big fish in a small pond. Seo-jun smirks, declaring that he is the biggest fish in this pond. Activating his stealth skill, his head attack increases by 10%. He leaps into the air, his spear aimed at the bear's head. With precision, Seo-jun strikes, drawing blood from the bear's head. Soldiers, seeing this, cheer in recognition, hoping Sung Gainbolt will save everyone. But the bear barely feels the attack, brushing it off like a scratch. Seo-jun realizes the danger and quickly shouts for everyone to run, warning them he can't hold the beast off for long. The battle between Seo-jun and the bear resumes. Meanwhile, Eartha, perched on Seo-jun's head, enjoys the ride as if on a roller coaster. Despite unleashing all his strength and skills, Seo-jun struggles to even scratch the bear's thick hide. At that moment, a flashback hits Seo-jun. He remembers his training with Layla. In a serious yet smirking tone, Layla challenges him, promising that if he scratches her, she'll let him sleep in her lap. The thought pumps Seo-jun up, awakening his little pee-pee with excitement. Fueled by determination, Seo-jun leaps at Layla, attempting to punch her, but Layla effortlessly counters, sending him crashing to the ground like Yamcha. Despite this, Layla gently places Seo-jun in her lap, stroking his head like a child. In a kind and warm tone, she praises him, showing a strand of hair he managed to cut during their training. "Good job, Seo-jun," she said. Snapping back to the present, Seo-jun channels all his focus and power into a single point. With a mighty bang, he pierces the bear's head. A fountain of blood gushes out, and with a thunderous crash, the bear falls lifeless to the ground. Seo-jun gains 12,900 experience points, advancing to level 23. His stats increase, +8 strength, +7 detox, +5 HP, and +5 mana. Additionally, he earns the title of level 54 Brown Big Bear First Slayer and 1 strike 1 kill, granting him a 10% boost in critical hit chance. Seo-jun also learns a new critical hit skill, allowing his focused attacks to double in power. Watching this, Eartha remarks that it took Seo-jun 3 attacks to defeat a normal bear. Seo-jun grumbles, wishing she could compliment him just once. Despite her remarks, he feels excited to butcher the massive bear and collect its leather. But as he begins, the bear shrinks in size. Seo-jun realizes it had used a gigantification skill, masking its true form. While Seo-jun is busy butchering, a black car arrives. From it, the top young hunters of Korea step out. Seeing them, both Eartha and Seo-jun sigh in annoyance. The leader of all the new hunters, Sang, a rising star, was clearly shocked. Meanwhile, the brown-haired hunter and the white-haired hunter couldn't hold back their sarcasm, saying they'd heard a monster from Tile 2 had shown up, but they couldn't believe someone wearing a weird-ass mask had taken it down all alone. Sang's eyes locked onto Seo-jun, and he stared at him like he was a big deal. Seeing this, Seo-jun couldn't help but blush. For the first time, someone had actually noticed him. But, of course, his excitement didn't last long. Eartha, as usual, ruined the moment by pointing out that Sang wasn't looking at Seo-jun. He was looking at his goofy mask. That hit Seo-jun hard, and he felt his happiness crumble. Then to top it off, Sang called him Sang Green Bolt. Great, another nickname to add to the cringe pile. The brown-haired hunter, oozing overconfidence, refused to believe Seo-jun had taken down the bear solo. The group closed in, bombarding Seo-jun with questions like, "What's your deal?" or "Did you get a second-class awakening?" Seo-jun, clearly annoyed, just stared at them in silence. His lack of response made the brown-haired hunter even more irritated, but Sang stepped in, calming his friends and handling the situation like a pro. Watching Sang's smooth social skills, Seo-jun couldn't help but feel jealous. He thought to himself, "Man, if that were me, I'd probably trip over my words and make it even weirder." Then, to his surprise, Sang walked right up to him and introduced himself again. Seo-jun sat there totally confused. Was Sang serious right now? Should he shake his hand or what? But then Sang, with that ridiculous level of confidence, announced that while he knew Seo-jun was stronger, one day Sang would surpass him. He even went as far as calling Seo-jun his rival. Hearing this, Seo-jun nearly gagged. Rival? Seriously? Seo-jun didn't want to be anyone's rival, or worse, someone's mother-in-law, as he put it. Feeling completely fed up, Seo-jun asked, "Do you seriously see me as your rival?" And when Sang said yes, Seo-jun snapped. He laid into Sang, asking why he needed someone else to compare himself to. "Why do you need a rival to push yourself?" Seo-jun practically shouted. "If you can't even focus on your own damn progress, how do you have the audacity to compare yourself to others?" That shut Sang up, and he quietly slipped away. With a psychotic grin, Seo-jun turned back to the bear and started working on its leather. Once done, the military commander called out to him. Seo-jun was instantly suspicious, assuming they wanted to take his hard-earned loot. But to his surprise, the commander assured him the leather was all his. The commander even handed Seo-jun a secret app that could track monsters in the city. Seo-jun squinted, questioning if using the app might cause problems. But the commander explained that Seo-jun taking down monsters for public safety actually worked in the army's favor. Seo-jun shrugged and started walking away. Meanwhile, one of the commander's subordinates asked why they didn't try recruiting Seo-jun. The commander practically laughed, scolding the guy. "Do you really think someone as badass as Sang Yin Bolt, who can kill monsters in one hit, would want to be bossed around in the army?" Seo-jun and Eartha overheard this, and Eartha couldn't help but chuckle, calling the commander smart for not trying to pull something dumb like recruiting Seo-jun. "If they'd pushed their luck, Seo-jun would have wiped the floor with them and left," she said. Seo-jun, however, still didn't get just how powerful and special he was to this world. Using the app, Seo-jun tracked and took out monsters one by one. After clearing them all, he perched on a rooftop, deep in thought. His EXP gain was painfully slow. Eartha explained he needed to target higher-level monsters if he wanted to level up faster. Exhausted, Seo-jun headed home and crashed for the night. But the next morning, his day started with a bang. The system sent him a notification. The connection to the other world had been restored. This meant everyone in Eartha could go back and level up, but of course, due to some stupid error, Seo-jun was stuck here. Again. Seo-jun asks Eartha why he can't go to the other world, feeling totally fed up. Eartha, trying to play it cool, explains that monsters on Earth have leveled up big time. That's why God handed humans another shot to bounce over to the other world and get swole. But because of Seo-jun's God-tier skill, he's stuck here. Hearing this, Seo-jun loses it. He shouts at Eartha, his frustration spilling over like a broken dam. He starts bawling, thinking about all the crazy adventures in the fantasy world he's missing out on. But Eartha, keeping her tone calm, tells him he's been riding solo forever anyway. What's the big deal now? Seo-jun doesn't let it go. What about when his mom and dad leave for the other world? What if his mom and dad ask Seo-jun to meet them there? What is he supposed to say? Eartha, scrambling to calm him down, pitches an idea. She tells him to flex on his parents, claiming he's already too strong to need the other world. Seo-jun rolls his eyes at the plan and mutters how much he hates it. Sensing his frustration, Eartha shifts gears, grows serious, and apologizes. She admits she can't do anything to change his situation right now. Seo-jun, still fired up, asks if this means he'll never get the chance to check out the other world. Eartha reassures him that it's not completely off the table. If Seo-jun levels up to higher being status, not only can he hit up the other world, he'll even get a VIP pass to heaven. Hearing about heaven, Seo-jun's brain immediately snaps to Layla. He wonders if he'll ever get to vibe with her again. Eartha watches from the sidelines, her face scrunching up. Dang, these two are like long-distance lovebirds, she thinks. Then it hits her. Am I their freaking Cupid? That thought alone has her steaming. She scolds Seo-jun, telling him to train like a beast, become a higher being, and reunite with his so-called love. Refueled with determination, Seo-jun approaches his parents to hash out the next steps. Meanwhile, the news is a madhouse, broadcasting the chaos spreading worldwide as the path to the other world reopens. The military steps in, laying out a plan to split the load. Half the people will head to the other world to train up, while the rest will guard Earth's turf. The other world has basically turned into a dungeon where folks can grind and level up. Seo-jun downs his hot milk, bracing himself to pitch the idea to his parents. He tells them they should head to the other world to bulk up their power levels. His dad brushes him off, saying it's a waste of time. He'd spent 10 years in the other world and still didn't manage a second-class awakening. But Seo-jun pushes back. He argues that the other world is basically a playground now, with the tough monsters already handled, making it prime time to grind safely. His dad, clearly moved by Seo-jun's persistence, flashes a warm smile. He reassures Seo-jun that he'll do his best and promises to check in soon. And just like that, his dad pieces out, teleporting straight to the other world. Seo-jun shakes his head thinking, "Yup, 110% sure Dad is being naughty in another world." Seo-jun's mom, blindsided, is left standing there half-shocked. Later, during dinner, she praises Seo-jun for holding it down, but warns him to play it safe and not get reckless. Seo-jun brushes it off, saying he's got no powers and isn't a hunter, but his mom, giving him a look, lets him know she's onto him. That masked guy tearing it up on TV? It's obviously him. After hearing this, Seo-jun is shaken. His mom, with a warm and kind smile, teases him, asking if he really thought she wouldn't recognize him. Even with that weird mask on, she could tell from miles away that the masked man was her son. Seo-jun is left stunned, thinking, his mom's skill is some next-level legendary skill? Even God couldn't sense me with my stealth, but she nailed it instantly. Overcome with emotion, Seo-jun feels a lump in his throat and tears start to fall. Man, he thinks, there's only one person in the whole universe who actually sees me for who I am. His mom reassures him, saying she doesn't know how he became so powerful, but he better take care of himself and avoid doing anything dumb. She adds, with that signature mom tone, that people can be way scarier than monsters, so he better keep his wits about him. For the first time in years, Seo-jun feels this warm, comforting vibe wash over him. Even her scolding hits different. It feels like home, but all good things come to an end. She says her last goodbye, gives him that mom look, and heads to the other world. And just like that, Seo-jun is alone again. Looking at the stack of dishes, Seo-jun sighs and mutters, "Great. Now I've got to do all this boring house stuff too." While he's sulking, Eartha pops in, telling him to buck up because she's heading to heaven, and he's about to get some next-level reward for all the crazy stuff he's pulled off on Earth. The scene shifts to Seo-jun strolling into his secret basement. This wasn't just any basement. It's his personal dream factory, built with all the cash he raked in from slaying monsters. Decked out with top-tier equipment, it screams mastermind at work. Seo-jun's eyes gleam as he mutters, "Man, the stuff I could make here." But before he can dive in, Eartha pops up again. Seo-jun, feeling a bit frazzled, asks how she zoomed back from heaven so fast. What floors him, though, is her appearance. She's human-sized now. Seo-jun's jaw practically drops. "What the heck? How'd you suddenly grow like that?" he blurts out. Eartha smirks and explains with a flick of her wrist that this was her real form all along. She just shrank herself before to make things easier. With an elegant move, Eartha extends her hand and asks for his. Seo-jun, feeling a little awkward, gives her his hand. Her touch feels cool yet silky smooth. Suddenly, the system dings and announces that Seo-jun's heaven quest, Angel Agent Duty, is complete. Because Seo-jun outperformed everyone on Earth, he's granted a special reward, the Eternal Flame. Seo-jun's jaw drops. "Wait, what?" he exclaims. At the same moment, the furnace in his workshop glows brightly. Flames burst out, and before his eyes, they begin to take on a life of their own. Eyes, a face, and everything. Seo-jun's mind is running at 100 miles an hour. What is this insane gift? He thinks. With a grin spreading across his face, Seo-jun knows this is just the beginning of something epic. Seo-jun is fucking excited to see the flame and thinks about all the amazing stuff he can create with it. This was exactly what he wanted. However, Eartha interrupts, pointing out that Layla sent this gift for Seo-jun from heaven. Pissed, Eartha complains about how Layla always gave her trouble when she was in heaven. Seo-jun, hearing Layla's name, drifts off, thinking about her and saying Layla always knows what the hell he wants. Seo-jun is then given a quest since the gods messed up and left him on Earth while everyone else went to the other world. The gods now expect him to create dungeons on Earth. Confused and angry, Seo-jun quickly realizes Eartha is just dumping her work on him. Shouting, Seo-jun says, "What kind of messed up god makes a mistake, leaves me alone for 1,000 years and now expects me to do their shit? This is absolute bullshit!" Eartha, sweating like crazy, nervously explains that the monsters on Earth have developed resistance to God's power. Seo-jun is the only one capable of fixing this mess. Shocked by Eartha's sudden praise, Seo-jun finds it suspicious as hell. "Why the hell is she complimenting me?" he wonders. Shouting again, Seo-jun accuses Eartha of buttering him up to do some ridiculously hard stuff. Eartha, avoiding his gaze, stays quiet. Annoyed, Seo-jun demands to know what happens if he refuses. Eartha tells him calmly, but with a sly tone, that if Seo-jun doesn't create the dungeons, the monsters will destroy the Earth, and it'll all be his fault. Perfect. Still pissed, Seo-jun mutters about how useless these so-called gods are. Eartha then brings out a shitload of high-level precious materials and tools for Seo-jun to use. Seeing all the glittering tools and resources, Seo-jun's jaw drops, and he almost drools. Thrilled, he picks them up, but Eartha immediately cuts in, saying he's just borrowing the tools. They're not his. Annoyed but intrigued, Seo-jun asks how the hell he's supposed to make dungeons. Eartha pulls out a blueprint and explains the process. Seo-jun needs to craft a magic tool that attracts monsters and converts an area into a dungeon. Seo-jun knows this task will be a pain in the ass, but the rewards sound worth it. Eartha promises he'll get the best rewards. As Seo-jun begins crafting, Eartha watches him like a hawk. She's shocked by how messing good Seo-jun is at blacksmithing. For a second, she wonders if she made a mistake recommending the Lancer class instead of blacksmithing. If Seo-jun had chosen blacksmithing, maybe he could have created weapons capable of kicking gods' asses. Seo-jun shapes the tool carefully, focusing like a laser. With sweat dripping, he hopes not to mess it up. Watching his dedication, Eartha realizes this must be how Layla felt watching Seo-jun for 1,000 years. For a brief moment, a smile creeps onto her face, but she quickly shakes it off, muttering to herself, "Nope, not catching feelings for this bastard." Finally, Seo-jun finishes the tool, holding it up triumphantly. "Done!" he shouts. Eartha is floored by the result. Seo-jun has reached the maximum level of blacksmithing, earning the badass title of Creator of Legends. The bastard actually pulled it off. Seo-jun stood there, holding the base for the dungeon, looking like he owned the place. Meanwhile, Eartha was stunned, scratching her head, wondering how Seo-jun had managed to finish so fast. With a smirk, Seo-jun teased, "What's up, Eartha? Did you sneak some wine from heaven? 6 hours have already zipped by." Eartha blinked, bewildered. She had been so caught up watching Seo-jun work, she hadn't even noticed the time flying by. Reluctantly, Seo-jun handed her the dungeon base. Eartha, trying to act unimpressed, muttered, "Well, Seo-jun barely passed." But deep down, she knew he'd crushed it. She quickly added that she'd summon her fellow angels for the mana crafting. Hearing fellow angels, Seo-jun's heart nearly leapt out of his chest. Maybe, just maybe, Layla would show up. But Eartha, with her usual knack for ruining the vibe, dropped the bad news. Layla wasn't coming. Eartha then summoned 3 angels. When they appeared, Seojun's jaw nearly hit the floor. These weren't just angels, they were drop-dead gorgeous beings that didn't seem real. As they arrived, they stared at Seojun like he was some kind of circus act, saying they couldn't believe a lowly human had created a dungeon so quickly. Seojun's pride took a hit, and he felt a wave of irritation. But when he took a good look at their stunning faces, his anger faded a bit. As he glanced at Eartha, he realized something. Now that she was in her full size, she was pretty damn beautiful. He shook his head, mumbling that he hadn't noticed it before. Eartha clapped her hands, snapping him out of his thoughts. "Focus, Seojun! Have the willpower to finish the dungeon!" she barked. The angels surrounded Seojun, placing their hands on him to share mana. Seojun immediately felt like he was being hit by a truck but gritted his teeth, staying focused on crafting the dungeon. The white-haired angel watched, clearly impressed, saying she couldn't believe a human could handle their mana. The black-haired angel, on the other hand, looked ticked off, grumbling that his ego was hurting seeing Seojun do so well. Meanwhile, the green-haired angel seemed to find Seojun's effort fascinating. A bright light burst out, signaling the completion of the dungeon. The angels were blown away, marveling at how Seojun had nailed it on his first try. What's more, the dungeon had alpha and beta options, rare features that usually didn't show up this early. Eartha explained that these options were super rare and added even more power to the dungeon. The angels begrudgingly praised Seojun, clearly impressed despite their initial doubts. Seojun, trying not to look too smug, joined them in setting up the dungeon. They moved to a nearby mountain where Eartha tossed the dungeon core into the air. Seojun tilted his head, confused, as it suddenly vanished. Moments later, the ground began to rumble, and Seojun spotted monsters heading straight for the dungeon. Watching the creatures charge toward their doom, Seojun couldn't help but chuckle. Man, these poor guys have no clue what's waiting for them. Thinking about how God had bailed on Earth for thousands of years, Seojun clenched his fists. He wasn't about to sit around whining. Instead, he was ready to level up his game. With a serious face, clenching his fists so tightly his knuckles turned white, Seojun swore to himself he would get stronger, so strong that even God wouldn't be able to control him. This wasn't for anyone else, not for praise, not for recognition. It was for one thing and one thing only, to claim his own freedom. The next day, it is reported that dungeons have appeared in various parts of the world, attracting monsters. Seojun wonders how his parents are doing. Eartha praises Seojun's hard work, but Seojun, shrugging off the compliment, claims he needs to make more dungeons and wonders why the angels have already left. Eartha explains that the angels need to recharge their mana and return to heaven. Seojun then mentions that there are other angels like Layla. Eartha tells him that Layla is busy working because of him and won't be able to see him for the time being. Later, Seojun goes back to his workshop, and Eartha notices the materials he has collected. She offers to reward Seojun for his dedication. With a wave of her hand, she dries and sterilizes the monster's leathers in an instant. Seojun grins, thrilled that he can now make boots and gloves. After some time, Seojun successfully creates a set of leather gloves and boots. Next, he starts crafting armor from bear leather. Eartha watches him with a soft smile, enjoying how Seojun dives into his crafting with such passion. A day passes, and Seojun completes the bear armor. However, he doesn't stop there. He strengthens the armor using monster bones, resulting in armor with superior quality and a unique additional function, spikes that pop out like a porcupine. Eartha remembers the hidden mantis blade and asks why Seojun is making such unusual things. Seojun, with a smug look, claims that it's every man's dream. Eartha rolls her eyes and calls his reasoning nonsense. They notice leftover monster bones, and Seojun gets another idea. He crafts a butchering knife from the bones and even uses a skull to create a mask. Seojun equips the mask, gloves, boots, and armor. Eartha is shocked at how the mask has made Seojun's presence even weaker than before, as if he's vanished into thin air. Just then, a loud explosion echoes in the distance. A monster appears, and Eartha can't believe it hasn't been trapped in a dungeon yet. How is that even possible? She mutters in disbelief. Just then, they hear a loud explosion. A monster shows up, and Eartha can't believe it hasn't been trapped in the dungeon yet. Seojun, with a smirk, hopes it isn't stronger than the brown bear. He mutters that if it is, he'll have to whip up a new set of armor. Hearing this, Eartha loses it and shouts, "Is SEO Jun seriously worried about making new armor instead of fighting a beast that can level a city?" Seo Jun shrugs her off, pulls out his spear, and tweaks it. The weapon suddenly gains a noticeable boost in attack power. Seo Jun grins and boldly asks Eartha if he can keep the heavenly tools, but Eartha shuts him down with a flat no. They make their way to the scene, where chaos reigns as a massive leopard tears through everything. The military is totally outmatched. Seo Jun notices a few awakened ones hanging around, but they're way out of their depth. Most of the heavy hitters are off in the other world, chillin' with elves. Without missing a beat, Seo Jun straps on his mask and dashes into action. Eartha shouts a warning, "This leopard is stronger than the bear!" A tank takes a shot at the leopard, but the attack bounces off like it's nothing. The leopard, ticked off, grabs the tank and tries to chomp it like a snack. Seo Jun, never missing an opportunity, jumps in and spears the leopard right in the eye, landing a clean, critical hit. The crowd watching goes wild, relieved that their one and only hero, Sungain Bolt, didn't go to the other world. The leopard, furious, hurls the tank aside, but Seo Jun stays on its tail. With precision, he slashes open the tank and pulls out 2 soldiers trapped inside. They hit the ground, gasping, and gratefully tell Seo Jun he's their hero. Suddenly, Seo Jun freezes, sensing something. He shouts at the soldiers to get out of there. The leopard looms, locking its feral gaze on Seo Jun. Eartha, panicked, says, "It's got you now!" But Seo Jun, with that signature cocky grin, replies, "Chill! Seo Jun's got this!" He tightens his grip on the spear, ready to throw down. The military and other awakened people focused their attacks on the leopard while it was distracted. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck the leopard's wounded eye. A helicopter arrived and outstepped a stunningly beautiful woman. The onlookers couldn't believe that the empress was such a beauty all along. The leopard charged at Seo Jun, but he dodged by, jumping into the air. Taking advantage of this, the leopard aimed to attack him mid-air. The crowd below gasped in fear, certain he might die. But to their shock, Seo Jun curled up mid-air like a porcupine, landing unscathed. Feeling proud, Seo Jun smirked, but Eartha quickly remarked how ridiculous he looked. She sarcastically compared his pose to something Layla would mock, and Seo Jun grumbled, unwilling to imagine Layla seeing him like that. Meanwhile, the monster flailed and rammed into a building for a headbutt, but Seo Jun managed to escape just in time. Seo Jun retaliated, leaping onto the leopard with his spiked boots and landing a critical hit with his spear. He continued attacking relentlessly while others targeted the leopard's legs. Eartha suddenly warned him, "Hurry! That thing's evolving into Class 3! Tentacles began sprouting from the leopard's wounded eye, and Eartha confirmed the mutation was underway. Just then, another lightning strike hit, revealing the Empress watching from above. Seo Jun hacked at the regenerating tentacles, but they kept coming back. The Empress offered to buff Seo Jun, and though surprised, he agreed. She leapt from the helicopter, landing gracefully in front of him. Her calm voice carried authority as she declared, "My life is in your hands now." With her powers, Seo Jun's stats increased by 50%, and he gained a lightning buff. Though she warned him of the side effect, his stats would drop by 50% once the buff ended. Now pumped up, Seo Jun went on the offensive, striking the leopard with a mix of critical and lightning hits. The Empress urged him to finish quickly, hinting that the military might launch missiles otherwise. Seo Jun, concerned about his nearby workshop, attacked with full force. With one last devastating strike, the leopard was destroyed, earning Seo Jun experience points and a level up. Eartha commended Seo Jun, but his satisfaction quickly soured when he realized the leopard's leather was ruined, dashing his hopes of crafting leopard armor. Eartha asked sarcastically, "Is that really more important?" Seo Jun noticed the military struggling to dismantle the corpse and offered to help, on the condition they discussed how to split the spoils. The Empress suggested a 60-20-20 split, 60% to Seo Jun, 20% to the military, and 20% to the other hunters. Reluctantly, the military agreed, lightening Seo Jun's mood. Climbing onto the corpse, Seo Jun retrieved a mana stone, which the Empress agreed was a fair dividend for him doing all the work. But then, grumbles arose from the hunters and some military personnel, complaining that the mana stone should be shared since everyone had risked their lives. Eartha scoffed. Typical lowly beings, quick to whine and accuse after being saved. Seo Jun, annoyed, agreed to give up the mana stone. Eartha was disappointed, asking why he was backing down. But Seo-jun, with a sly grin, shared his plan. He recalled his mother's advice: if words don't solve a problem, there's always a final solution: your fist. She had flexed her Sigma Asian mom muscles, leaving Seo-jun in awe. Seo-jun dramatically tossed the mana stone back into the leopard's corpse and shouted angrily, "Take it! But only if you beat me for it. And next time another monster shows up, I'll wait until you're all dead before I act. That way, no one will complain, as you'll all be in heaven." Hearing this, the others quickly backed off, muttering that Seo-jun should keep the mana stone. The Empress requested her share of the dismantling, promising to pay Seo-jun extra for his effort. Later, she called for a car to transport the materials, revealing her wealth. Seo-jun, however, felt a surge of disgust when the very same hunters who had accused him earlier now shamelessly begged for his help in butchering the leopard. He rolled his eyes in pure annoyance, barely holding back a gag. Then Seo-jun offers to help dismantle the leopard, but only with a huge payment. The others grumble and complain, but realizing they have no other choice, they reluctantly agree to Seo-jun's terms. Later, chaos erupts as everyone begins fighting over the loot, leaving Seo-jun completely uninterested. With an exasperated sigh, he tries to leave quietly, avoiding the unnecessary drama. The Empress, however, stops him in his tracks. She praises his stealth skill, calling it extraordinary, and suggests forming a party with him. Seo-jun flatly declines, making it clear that he works better alone. Undeterred, she smirks, saying she plans to stay on Earth because she isn't weak enough to run off to the other world to train. With a sly grin, she hands him her business card and walks away. Seo-jun glances at the name Kang Maire on the card and thinks it's refreshing that she isn't overly persistent. As he strolls away with Eartha, they both notice movement in the leopard's carcass, but Seo-jun brushes it off, muttering, "Not my problem." Later, Seo-jun dives headfirst into his crafting mode, creating more traps of destruction. Eartha suddenly senses something ominous, a tertiary-class monster forming on Earth. Panic starts to creep into her voice as she questions what could be happening. Seo-jun, unfazed, casually suggests, "Why not just ask God?" This earns an irritated glare from Eartha, who scolds him for his laid-back attitude, reminding him that Earth is in actual danger. The monster's evolution is progressing at an alarming rate, tipping the balance dangerously. Seo-jun shrugs. "Worrying won't change a damn thing," he says bluntly, wondering aloud how other countries are managing the crisis. Eartha reveals that the rapid evolution is unique to Korea, which immediately makes Seo-jun suspect that his traps, often referred to as dungeons, might be the trigger. Eartha is shocked, realizing that Seo-jun's traps are so effective that the monsters feel threatened enough to evolve rapidly. In other worlds, monsters evolve inside dungeons through crossbreeding. Outside, they grow by eating humans, but those trapped in dungeons suffer stunted growth. Seo-jun smirks, proud of just how powerful his traps are. With newfound motivation, Seo-jun decides to make even more traps. Eartha watches in awe, marveling at how much Seo-jun genuinely enjoys crafting and gaining experience. Reflecting on Seo-jun's 1,000 years of solitude, she realizes that he is hungry for new experiences. Much to her own surprise, she finds herself empathizing with him, a mere lower being. What shocks her even more is that she doesn't hate this feeling. Trying to shake off the strange sentiment, Eartha tells Seo-jun to keep growing stronger and gain more experience. Seo-jun confidently replies that he will, his determination unshakable. That night, the angels return to help complete more traps before departing to create dungeons. Seo-jun hopes his traps are effective, and Eartha reassures him, telling him not to worry. Seo-jun thanks her, leaving Eartha puzzled by his sudden gratitude. "My man's gonna have a harem of angels." Later that night, while showering, Seo-jun notices something strange. Did his little pee-pee bulk up? Laughing to himself, he asks Eartha about it, flexing in front of the mirror. Eartha confirms that it's quite big, but Seo-jun, ever playful, pushes further, joking about how he can make it even bigger. Eartha rolls her eyes, clearly irritated, claiming his face is annoying to a higher being like her. She munches on a cookie while watching TV, but Seo-jun, with sparkling playful eyes, keeps flexing, asking her again and again about his muscles. Finally, it's too much for her. She blushes, grabs her potato chips, and throws them at Seo-jun. But deep down, Eartha finds herself enjoying this new emotion and secretly wants to spend more time with Seo-jun. Before she knows it, she's smiling, feeling good, just staying by his side. Inside her head, Layla's voice teases her, "Isn't Seo-jun amazing?" This instantly pisses her off again, and she starts scolding Seo-jun, even though he's already sleeping like a kid. While Eartha screams, Seo-jun dreams of Layla. The next morning, Seo-jun wakes up and discovers that his rest skill has reached max level. Eartha is stunned and exclaims that it's an SS rank skill. She asks how he managed to achieve such a feat. Seo-jun, with a smug grin, explains that he researched how to sleep comfortably for a millennium. Eartha can't believe what she's hearing. She's envious, yet amazed, dismissing it as a skill merely for resting well. Seo-jun, however, senses that there's more to it. Adjusting her glasses, Eartha begins to explain skill evolution. She elaborates that skill evolution is an achievement that opens new paths to power. In simpler terms, once a skill evolves, it becomes overpowered. Eartha points out that Seo-jun currently has taijutsu, spear arts, rest, and stealth, all of which are ready for evolution. However, she warns him that evolving taijutsu and spear arts will be extremely difficult due to the stringent requirements, while his stealth skill, being passive, can't be evolved. She then encourages Seo-jun to check the rest skill requirements. Seo-jun takes a look and freezes. To evolve it, he needs 500 monster hearts and 500 liters of troll blood. Seeing this, Seo-jun complains loudly, "This is almost impossible to do." Eartha smirks and tells Seo-jun to check the requirements for his other skills. Reluctantly, he does so, only to find that evolving his taijutsu and spear arts requires him to kill 500 Class 3 monsters all in one shot. On top of that, he must also defeat a Class 4 monster. "Are you kidding me?" Seo-jun shouts, his soul leaving his body. Eartha, trying not to laugh, calmly explains that while the rest skill might seem ridiculous now, its future potential is godly and the easiest to upgrade compared to his other skills. Eartha, however, begins to worry about Seo-jun's leveling speed. He is growing slower, and he still doesn't have mana. The only reason Seo-jun is so overpowered is because of his martial arts. She warns that if he doesn't evolve soon, other humans might surpass him. But then, a chilling thought crosses Eartha's mind. If Seo-jun ever learns mana, he could become a being capable of ruling over all creators of the Akashic records. The mere idea sends a shiver down her spine, yet it also fills her with awe. From now on, all Eartha can do is watch over him, to witness his journey, his growth, and secretly to enjoy every moment of it. Later, Seo-jun asks Eartha where he can find those Class 3 monsters. Eartha, while casually munching on fried snakes, explains that those monsters will only appear on Earth once mana is activated. Just then, the news on TV reports that the leopard's body has disappeared, along with the people who were sharing the loot. The Class 2 leopard also vanished with the people who were butchering it. Some speculate that a dungeon might have swallowed them. However, Seo-jun realizes that there might be another monster. Eartha is 99.9% sure that the leopard was dead. She admits there's a 0.01% chance that the leopard was pregnant. Seo-jun recalls briefly noticing a black figure on the screen and regrets not completing the butchering. However, Eartha quickly reminds him that it was the greedy people's fault. The people got murdered and are now chilling in the monster's stomach, all because of their own greed, Eartha says, clearly unimpressed. But Seo-jun still feels responsible, a reaction Eartha didn't expect. She can't understand why Seo-jun is affected by this. They realize the leopard must have been acting mad to hide its baby. Eartha feels guilty for not considering the possibilities, especially since the baby inherited a stealth skill. Nobody noticed it hiding. The people had spent too much time arguing, giving the baby enough time to be born and later attack those around it. Seo-jun starts to worry, and Eartha confirms that it might be the Class 3 tertiary monster she had sensed earlier. Seo-jun turns off the TV and begins planning. He refuses to lose to another stealth user. Eartha reminds him that it's impossible for a monster to excel in all stats, so it might have weaker defense or strength. Seo-jun suddenly considers getting help and decides to call someone. Eartha immediately stops him, warning that revealing his identity could be dangerous. Determined, Seo-jun uses a public phone to call Kang Mai-rae. When Mai-rae picks up, Seo-jun, embarrassed, introduces himself as Sungain Bolt. Hearing his nickname, Mai-rae gets excited, but Seo-jun from the other end feels like crying in shyness. Mai-rae quickly realizes that Seo-jun is too embarrassed to talk because of his nickname. Then the conversation takes a serious turn. Seo-jun informs Mai-rae about the news, explaining that there's a strong monster with stealth skills. Mai-rae listens carefully and agrees that the situation is indeed dangerous. The call ends, and Seo-jun is impressed by how quickly Mai-rae caught on to the situation. Her connections to the military and government seem even more impressive. Seo-jun then begins preparing for their mission, gathering materials he collected from the leopard monster for the upcoming battle. Eartha wonders what Seo-jun plans to make, as she feels the steel spear he already has is enough. Seo-jun, with a smirk, tells her to just watch. However, Eartha, clearly annoyed, starts pulling his hair in frustration. Seo-jun laughs and claims that she knows nothing about his genius. Using the leopard's bones, Seo-jun creates huge posts. Eartha, still confused, thinks Seo-jun is making a necklace for a giant, but the satisfied Seo-jun corrects her. "You don't know anything," he says, further irritating her. Eartha then realizes Seo-jun wasn't making spears but rather a harpoon. Seo-jun explains that a harpoon can pull the prey back once it hits. It has great penetration and is hard to remove once embedded. To make it even better, Seo-jun uses the leopard's leather to create rope. Eartha, still skeptical, asks him if he is secretly using mana to craft so quickly. Seo-jun shakes his head and clarifies that if he had mana, he wouldn't bother crafting weapons. He'd just beat up the monster with his bare hands. Once finished, Seo-jun proudly displays his hunter's harpoons, which he crafted with mana stones. Eartha, still shocked, finds it evil how Seo-jun is using the mother's materials to take down her baby. Seo-jun explains that his survival is non-negotiable, justifying the use of the stones. He finishes crafting, and Eartha notices that the harpoons have high attack power and an increase in critical hits. How does he do this? Eartha wonders, her head aching at witnessing the impossible once again. Later, Seo-jun contacts Mai-Ray and warns her not to act rashly. Mai-Ray, concerned, asks why the baby monster is still lingering in the area. Seo-jun explains that it is seeking revenge for its mother's death. Mai-Ray, intrigued, asks if Seo-jun has a plan. Seo-jun confidently states that he will make the monster unable to use its stealth skills. Mai-Ray wishes him luck as Seo-jun heads toward the monster's territory with Eartha. Upon arriving, Seo-jun laughs when he senses the monster's arrogance in relying on its stealth skills. Seo-jun pins down posts and deliberately makes noise to lure the monster, but it does not attack yet. Eartha, watching closely, remarks that Seo-jun's stealth skill is far superior to the leopard's. His traps are completely hidden, making him a natural assassin in her eyes. Just then, Seo-jun notices something. The leopard emerges from stealth, ready to attack. Seo-jun, with a determined expression, gets ready to move. The leopard was acting like John Cena, thinking no one could see it, but Seo-jun's sharp eyes caught its movements. The leopard growls as it prowls around, trying to intimidate. Seo-jun notices a 20% bonus damage from attacking while in stealth and using a spear. Without wasting time, he throws the harpoon with all his might, aiming directly at the leopard. The harpoon hits its mark, and the leopard roars in pain. Despite its size being only half of its mother's, it was clearly a tertiary-class monster. Seo-jun had the bonus damage, yet the harpoon only managed to lodge halfway in. Eartha, observing keenly, explains that the leopard's low stamina and defense are due to its specialization in stealth skills. The leopard, now enraged, focuses on Seo-jun and charges at him. Seo-jun backs off quickly, dodging the attack just in time. The leopard realizes it can't move further, held back by the harpoon and pole, and struggles against the sturdy rope. Seo-jun wastes no time, picking up another harpoon and throwing it with precision. Critical hit! The leopard retaliates, and during the clash, Seo-jun's arm guards break. Stepping back, he cries out in frustration over his broken gear, but quickly recovers, realizing he can repair them later. Eartha, unimpressed, remarks how such a silly-looking arm guard managed to help him survive. The leopard attacks again, but Seo-jun dodges with skill, noticing that the attack was part of a monster skill. This realization surprises him, making him think about the unpredictable nature of future monsters. Preparing another set of spears and harpoons, Seo-jun stays focused. The leopard tries to run away, but the lodged harpoons and sturdy ropes hold it back. Frustrated, the leopard starts cutting at the ropes with its claws. Eartha urgently tells Seo-jun to use the remaining harpoons to stop it from escaping. Seo-jun, determined, throws another harpoon, pinning down the leopard's foot and preventing it from using its long-range attacks. Eartha, watching Seo-jun's precision, commends his javelin-throwing skills. Seo-jun, grinning, tells Eartha to call him Ishmael, referencing the harpooner from Moby Dick. Eartha, rolling her eyes, warns him, "Don't let your guard down." Just then, Mai-Ray's voice resounds in the area, asking if this is the target monster for subjugation. She arrives riding a military vehicle, and without hesitation, unleashes her lightning magic. The leopard gets hit and paralyzed, momentarily unable to move. Mai Rei steps out of the car, elegant and confident, asking Seo Jun how he managed to capture the monster. Seo Jun, a bit flustered, quips back that it's not a question someone who just dropped a bolt of lightning should ask. He realizes that Mai Rei is no ordinary hunter. Her first-class hunter status is clear. However, the leopard, refusing to go down, gets back on its feet. Seo Jun and Mai Rei prepare for round 2, their determination burning as they face the beast together. Seo Jun sets another pole and prepares to throw the harpoon. The leopard tries to move again, but Seo Jun throws the harpoon onto its other front foot. It roars in pain, and Seo Jun shouts to Mai Rei to attack whenever she can. Mai Rei can attack with powerful lightning magic, but she needs 2 minutes before she can fire it off. Seo Jun expects Mai Rei to let him know when she's ready to launch the attack. Meanwhile, the leopard struggles against the constraints, and Eartha notices it still has mana. The leopard glares at Seo Jun, and he immediately recognizes the look. Those were the same determined eyes he had seen before while hunting wild animals. It shows the monster's strong desire to survive. The leopard gets hit again, but it counters with its long-range skill. It misses, but Seo Jun notices the attack has become stronger. Eartha explains it's the bleeding buff, mineralization. Myra fires a lightning attack, but it doesn't reach the leopard. The leopard retaliates, targeting Mai Rei and her driver, but they manage to dodge. However, it's clear that attacking the leopard in this situation will be tough. The leopard roars loudly as it struggles to free itself from the harpoons. Seo Jun admits its determination is impressive, to the point that the leopard is willing to rip its own legs apart to survive. Seo Jun realizes they desperately need Mai Rei's attack. He jumps onto the car's roof and asks Mai Rei for a stronger attack. The driver brings out a gun, but Mai Rei wonders if it will be enough. Seo Jun insists this isn't the time for second-guessing. Mai Rei asks if Seo Jun knows how to use a gun, and he confidently claims that he can use most earth weapons. Seo Jun moves out with the gun in hand, and Mai Rei realizes he wasn't lying. Eartha knows Seo Jun has hesitated before because the leopard's leather would be ruined. Now, Seo Jun doesn't have a choice because martial arts or spears won't work on the leopard anymore. Suddenly, the leopard pulls out a pole stuck in its foot. Seo Jun is amazed at how sturdy the ropes are. Mai Rei watches intently, waiting for her 1-minute mark. The leopard is dangerously close to uprooting the remaining poles. Seo Jun fires a shot, hitting the leopard's eye. Blood gushes out as Seo Jun gains maximum-level shooting skills. He fires again, and Mai Rei is stunned by how much damage the rifle is causing. Eartha knows a rifle shouldn't be able to hurt a tertiary-class monster, but Seo Jun's shooting skill has made the weapon incredibly powerful. Seo Jun continues shooting and shouts for Mai Rei's magic. Mai Rei counts down as she charges her attack. Seo Jun drops the rifle and grabs a harpoon as the leopard breaks free from its constraints and lunges at him. At the exact moment the leopard attacks, Mai Rei unleashes a powerful lightning magic, striking with full force. The lightning magic hits the leopard, and Mai Rei feels a backlash from using stronger magic. Just when they thought it worked, Seo Jun notices that it isn't over yet. The leopard activates its stealth skill and disappears from Mai Rei's sight. However, the leopard's stealth skill is useless against the stealth king, Seo Jun. Seo Jun jumps onto the leopard and stabs its wounded eye with a harpoon. The monster falls and trembles in pain. Mai Rei is amazed that Seo Jun can see through stealth. Seo Jun brings out the remaining ropes and binds the leopard, maxing out yet another one of his skills. Eartha wonders why he hasn't killed it yet, but Seo Jun seems to have something else in mind. Mai Rei arrives and is surprised by Seo Jun's sudden appearance. Seo Jun suggests forming a party so they can share the experience points from the leopard. Flustered, Mai Rei agrees to form a party. The system confirms the party formation, and Seo Jun gets excited. New windows appear, showing the status of other party members. Mai Rei acts confused, noticing how Seo Jun behaves like it's his first time forming a party. Flustered, Seo Jun makes up a reason, and Eartha can only sigh. Seo Jun approaches the dying leopard, bids it farewell, and delivers the final blow. He gains nearly 3 million experience points, reaching level 36, and earns the title first to obtain the record of a level 102 Shadow Leopard Killer. Eartha comments on the huge level jump, and Seo Jun feels nauseous from the sudden surge of points. Mai Rei looks like she's feeling the same way. Eartha explains that despite the massive experience gain, Seo-jun couldn't reach level 40 because of his unique class, leaving him a bit disappointed. As Seo-jun's headache subsides, he solemnly approaches the leopard's carcass. He apologizes to the leather for damaging it, leaving Eartha a bit creeped out. Seo-jun explains that armor made from a tertiary class monster is a rare item. He then continues to butcher the monster. While butchering, Seo-jun discovers a mana stone in the leopard's head. Eartha exclaims how lucky Seo-jun is for obtaining mana stones from both the mother and baby leopards. The mana stone is as large as Seo-jun's fist. Seo-jun suddenly remembers that a tertiary class monster's mana stone is one of the requirements for evolving his rest skill. However, he's not the only one who contributed to subduing the monster. Mai Rei claims she earned 1.5 million experience points as the points are distributed based on the hunter's contributions. Seo-jun comments on how helpful Mai Rei was, and Mai Rei, feeling glad, asks for his name. She teases him, saying she'll continue calling him his embarrassing nickname, Sun Gain Bolt, if he doesn't tell her. Seo-jun immediately shares his name. Mai Rei smiles and tells him to keep the mana stone, requesting only half of the corpse if Seo-jun butchers it. Seo-jun hesitates, wondering if that's fair, but Mai Rei assures him it is. She then tells Seo-jun that the most important job on Earth right now is that of a butcher artisan. There's no point in killing a monster if you can't process its carcass. Mai Rei also praises Seo-jun's unmatched butchering skills in the last monster raid. Seo-jun butchers the monster's carcass while Mai Rei calls for backup. Eartha notices that Mai Rei has a lot of connections and suggests Seo-jun stay on good terms with her. However, for someone like Seo-jun, getting close to people feels like an impossible task. It's painful for a loner like him. Seo-jun finishes butchering the monster. Mai Rei orders her team to move the processed materials. She thanks Seo-jun for eliminating the monster before it could cause more damage. Seo-jun also expresses gratitude for her help. However, Mai Rei suggests that she will not form a party with Seo-jun in the future. She believes she is too weak and would only drag him down. Seo-jun feels heartbroken, and the introvert in him starts overthinking, blaming himself for things he might have done wrong. Mai Rei sighs and admits that she is lacking in many ways. She acknowledges the large gap in their strength. Seo-jun sighs in relief, realizing it wasn't his fault. Mai Rei swears to get stronger and promises to ask Seo-jun to partner with her again in the future. Seo-jun replies that he will think about it when the time comes. Mai Rei finds Seo-jun's logic admirable and thanks him again. Their party disbands, leaving Seo-jun with mixed feelings. Mai Rei gets called away by her team, but suddenly remembers something. She turns back and asks Seo-jun for his phone number. Seo-jun hesitates, unsure if he should share it. Mai Rei smiles and promises not to reveal his identity or phone number to anyone. The masked man is too stunned to speak, doubting if he can trust her. After recalling everything that happened, Seo-jun makes a decision. He agrees to give Mai Rei his contact information and cheerfully types his number into her phone. Mai Rei thanks him again and leaves. Seo-jun can't believe that a woman asked for his number first. Eartha finds Seo-jun pathetic and doesn't hide her disdain. Seo-jun feels offended and the two start arguing. Despite their bickering, Seo-jun can't help but feel proud of his success in defeating a tertiary class monster. His menacing smile reveals his satisfaction. However, Seo-jun's new problem is the troll's blood, which isn't available on Earth yet. He feels frustrated over not being able to visit the other world. Eartha reassures him, explaining that Earth's mana concentration is increasing and that trolls will appear soon. Seo-jun wonders if troll's blood has healing properties as it relates to his rest skill. Eartha confirms it, but warns that Seo-jun will need poison resistance to use it effectively. The next requirement troubles Seo-jun even more. He needs to kill a sleeping second-class monster in one hit, which means strengthening his weapon. Seo-jun asks Eartha for more materials, but she immediately refuses, reminding him that they've already provided him with tools. He considers using the harpoons again and starts brainstorming. While examining the muscles and tendons, the eternal flame surprises him by devouring the muscle. The tendons suddenly transform, and Seo-jun becomes excited. He quickly stops the flame and retrieves the tendon, feeling a spark of inspiration for his next steps. Seo-jun gets excited over the new material. He finds it fascinating and names it the Giant's Rubber Band. Eartha wonders how Seo-jun plans to use it. The material is stretchy, durable, fire-resistant, shock-proof, and water-resistant. Seo-jun suddenly declares he wants to make a fucking bazooka with it. He enthusiastically explains to Eartha how it looks and works, boasting that its attack power will be top tier and fierce. Seo-jun pours more tendons into the eternal flame, laughing menacingly at his newfound source of power. Eartha's head aches as she watches the maniac behind her. She can't believe how Seo-jun, after reading everything from sci-fi to romance over 1,000 years, is now molding his wild ideas into crafting. Despite her annoyance, Eartha gets excited about Seo-jun's future projects. Seo-jun starts drafting his new weapon. He decides to use the leopard's teeth as bullets and wants to enhance them with the mana stone, though Eartha insists they are already strong enough. Seo-jun justifies his plan, thinking he might need such a weapon to fight another tertiary class monster in the future. Seo-jun promises to find another mana stone for his pile bunker and finishes building it quickly. Testing it out, he realizes the rubber band is more resistant than expected. As he struggles to pull the band, he jokes about calling his mom for help. It takes him 2 seconds, longer than anticipated, to load it to the first level. He realizes it would be difficult to use in a real fight and sarcastically mutters about calling his ancestors for backup next time. Using the power of his ancestors, he tries again but struggles even more with the subsequent levels. A stat window appears, showing the pile bunker has advanced options, but Eartha deems it impractical for small monsters or regular use. Seo-jun decides to reserve it for giant monsters and immediately moves on to designing weapons for smaller enemies. Eartha gets mad and demands Seo-jun take a break, but Seo-jun, now a workaholic, ignores her completely. The scene shifts as time passes. Seo-jun manages to create numerous traps of destruction, leveling his ManhwaCapped skill to 24. The angels watching from behind are impressed by the trap's quality. Eartha reminds Seo-jun that he was initially required to create 11 more dungeons, but now it seems only 8 will be needed due to the top-quality dungeons Seo-jun has built. The trap's wider range and higher quality could overflow Earth's current traps, causing monsters to leave their current traps for Seo-jun's. This might result in new monsters being born, some of which could destroy the traps themselves. Seo-jun shivers in fear, unwilling to face another tertiary class monster. He knows he was only able to defeat the shadow leopard because of its stealth and required help to do so. He admits he cannot take down a 4th-class monster alone yet. Eartha advises Seo-jun to reduce the number of traps to avoid an overflow. Meanwhile, Siyuta, the white-haired angel, looks annoyed by Seo-jun's activities. He snaps, complaining about how chaotic things are on Earth, and orders Eartha to manage the lowly human. Hearing his disrespect, Eartha's face turns furious. She corrects him sharply, declaring that she is not here to manage or control Seo-jun. She is only here to watch and assist him. Eartha adds that she was never ordered to restrict Seo-jun's abilities. Siyuta dismissively calls her a useless angel and commands that a human should know his place. Eartha explodes with rage and draws her sword, pointing it at Siyuta. She warns him to mind your own business or I will cut your neck. With that, it becomes clear to everyone watching that Siyuta is a complete dick. Siyuta looks at the blade with frustration. Seo-jun panics because this is the first time he has seen Eartha getting so mad. The other angels intervene, siding with Eartha and calling Siyuta a pussy angel, telling him to mind his own business and focus on his duties. They try to calm Eartha down, and Nick claims that Siyuta didn't really mean it. Seo-jun realizes that angels are not so different from humans, despite being higher beings. Eartha, too, can act like a normal person. The 3 angels leave as they receive the traps of destruction from Seo-jun. He and Eartha watch them leave. Eartha then apologizes for showing this side of herself, but Seo-jun finds it refreshing and interesting to see angels express emotions. Eartha explains that angels have long forgotten such petty feelings. Seo-jun wonders why Kyuta is still like that. Eartha explains that it is because Seo-jun is great. His talents are enough to make even an angel feel jealous. Seo-jun is surprised by the compliment and gets shy over Eartha's high estimation of him. Eartha finds Seo-jun undervaluing himself, though she believes it might be a good quality. If he ever thought highly of his talents, he might have challenged God. Eartha doesn't even want to entertain the thought. She decides to move on and speaks out loud, confusing Seo-jun with her remarks. It is now time to discuss the rewards. Seo-jun insists he only wants material goods, but Eartha exclaims that he might change his mind once he hears what she has to say. A new dungeon on Earth contains a new kind of metal, and Eartha reveals its location. Seo-jun gets excited and wants to know right away. The next day, Seo-jun walks outside and notices no one around. Eartha asks if he remembers the time when he was alone on Earth. Seo-jun finds it different now. There are people, like Myre, fighting monsters. Seo-jun realizes he is no longer alone. and Eartha feels proud for some reason. Seo-jun walks deeper into a forest and notices something shining. He arrives at a dungeon entrance and feels glad that the dungeon with the new metal is in Korea. Given the state of emergency worldwide, traveling by boat or plane is impossible. Seo-jun even thought of building a plane. Eartha wonders if this is the start of something. Seo-jun touches the dungeon entrance, but it restricts entry to anyone below level 50. Seo-jun complains to Eartha, saying he is still at level 36. Eartha smirks and asks Seo-jun who he thinks she is. Seo-jun quickly calls her a rude angel and a trespasser. Eartha casually swipes her hand, lifting the dungeon's entry restriction. She tells Seo-jun to enter, and he suddenly finds her useful. Eartha angrily comments that she is a great help, even if Seo-jun rarely acknowledges it. Seo-jun touches the portal and steps into the dungeon. As soon as he enters, Seo-jun freaks out. This is the first time he has seen the inside of a dungeon. Eartha reminds Seo-jun that he is the one who made the dungeons. She then puts on her glasses and starts a pop quiz. She asks how new monsters appear on Earth. Seo-jun mentions that mana concentration is rising, which is only the basic condition. Eartha uses examples like rice weevils, cockroaches, and fungi, explaining how they thrive under the right conditions. Similarly, new monsters will appear if the environment is perfect, like the dungeons Seo-jun has made. Seo-jun wonders why Eartha is bringing this up. She reveals that the new metal is not something to be mined. Instead, it can be extracted from monster hearts. Seo-jun feels betrayed, realizing that he won't get to mine the metal. The miner, already equipped with a helmet, complains loudly, questioning why Eartha didn't mention this earlier. Seo-jun is shocked to learn that the monster hearts are the new metal he sought. He grumbles, asking Eartha why she didn't inform him earlier. Seo-jun is shocked to learn that the monster hearts are the metal he was looking for. He questions Eartha why she didn't inform him earlier. Eartha smirks and responds that she never said they would mine metal, only to obtain it. Now, Seo-jun is speechless. He had been so excited to mine that he even prepared a boatload of mining equipment. Even Eartha is surprised to see the numerous items Seo-jun brought along, including a 3RD-dimensional magic bag that he obtained as a quest reward, a bag with space expansion magic. While the bag's space is expanded, its weight remains the same. However, thanks to Seo-jun's excellent physique, carrying a few dozen tons is nothing for him. Meanwhile, Seo-jun surveys the walls dotted with countless gems. He sighs in disappointment, realizing all of those gems are from monsters. Eartha asks why he seems so downcast, and Seo-jun admits he was imagining himself mining the walls, getting excited, and then being surprised and ambushed by monsters. Unfortunately, Eartha spoiled the surprise, and now he can't experience something new. Seo-jun takes out a huge fucking red inferno axe that he made the previous day. He plans to use it against the metal monsters since his spear might not be as effective. This heavy battle axe, which he forged earlier, is another one of his rare creations. Eartha marvels at Seo-jun's ability to craft rare items, but Seo-jun laments that he can only use the axe once before making a better weapon with new metals. He tests the axe on one of the monsters, a metal heart embedded in the wall. With a single strike, the monster dies, much to Seo-jun's surprise. He gains a level, and his blunt weapon technique immediately maxes out. Inside the monster, Seo-jun finds a shining chunk, the metal heart's heart. Eartha explains that metal hearts reinforce their bodies with mana if they sense danger, making them difficult to hunt. Most parties require 2 individuals, one to distract and one to attack. However, with Seo-jun's stealth skill, he can ambush them alone. Seo-jun takes the heart and happily heads off to find more monsters. However, after just a few hours, the dungeon becomes boring for him. The surroundings are monotonous, and every monster dies in one hit. Eartha points out that he's the only one who would find this normal. Later, Seo-jun encounters a new enemy, a level 74 big metal heart. He pulls out his pile bunker and uses it. With a single hit, the monster explodes into pieces. However, the pile bunker's bullet gets destroyed, prompting Seo-jun to wonder if he should start making case shots instead. From the monster's corpse, he obtains a large heart. Eartha explains that the cane metal heart, the final form of metal hearts, has the highest durability in the world. However, it won't appear in this dungeon since it is a quaternary class monster. Against all odds, they encounter another big metal heart. This time, instead of using his pile bunker, Seo-jun opts for his huge hammer. He happily continues hunting, earning levels and gathering materials over the next few days before clearing the entire dungeon. Eartha suggests leaving since they can return later if they need more metal. Outside the dungeon, Seo-jun is greeted by other angels, who report that the installation of dungeons across Earth is complete. With the dungeons activating worldwide, monsters are disappearing, and once trapped inside the dungeons, civilization begins to regain stability. Korea, Japan, China, and other Asian nations are finally finding peace again. A little at a time, and once the monsters were trapped inside the dungeons, civilization began to regain its security and stability. Korea, Japan, China, and other Asian nations were finding peace once again. On the other hand, there were reports that quests from the other world were decreasing. Eartha explained to Seo-jun that they were limiting the quest rewards until people returned to Earth to help get rid of the monsters here. Meanwhile, Seo-jun finished his blacksmithing. Thanks to his effort and skills, he managed to create a full plate armor with not only 2 additional buffs, but 3. It was near impossible for an item without MangaCraft to have 3 options, but thanks to Seo-jun's Creator of Myth title, he pulled off the impossible. Eartha advised him not to sell these items since it would be dangerous if people knew about his abilities. Seo-jun also crafted a bunch of weapons and retired his old spear, which he fed to the eternal flame. Each time he fed it, the flame grew stronger. After a long day of blacksmithing, Seo-jun returned home and found that his parents had also arrived from the other world. He happily joined them for dinner while his dad mentioned having to leave for work. His dad explained that one of his co-workers quit to become a hunter, and since he couldn't do the same, he needed to work to avoid getting fired. Before his dad left, Seo-jun, for his dear-not dad, pulled out a defensive shirt from his bag and gave it to him. He also gave his mom a defensive shirt, but she seemed more interested in his bag itself. The next day, Seo-jun went back to his storage room, only to find that his workshop had dramatically changed overnight. Eartha explained that it was his reward for creating the trap of destruction, but that wasn't all. He was also given a deadly poison resistance record, which would allow him to survive even a quaternary class monster's poison. With that realization, Seo-jun knew he could now hunt trolls. As for his last reward, Eartha shared with him the location of a troll dungeon. It was in the United States of America. Well, Seo-jun thought, he had already used an AK-47 and a pile driver. As far as he was concerned, he was already an American citizen. Seo-jun heads to the airport to go to the USA. It was his first time flying, so he was very excited. Eartha shouted at him, reminding him that traveling requires a passport and visa, but Seo-jun just smiled, announcing that he would smuggle himself into the country. With his stealth skill, this was the perfect time to use his abilities to the fullest. Using his stealth skill, Seo-jun walked straight into the airport, past the stewardess, and into the airplane itself. He made himself comfortable in a business-class seat and even stole soda from a passing cart. The air hostess was right beside him, but she didn't notice a thing. Damn, this skill is deep shit, and I need it for, well, you know for what. Seo-jun noticed a fighter jet trailing outside the plane, but Eartha explained, using a guidebook, that it was being flown by an ability user to guard the plane in case monsters appeared in the sky. To reach Arizona, where the troll dungeon was located, they had a layover in Los Angeles. However, when the plane landed at Los Angeles Airport, monsters attacked. Eartha warned Seo-jun that this was probably an overflow. An overflow happens when a trap of destruction explodes, resulting in mutant monsters. These monsters were much stronger than normal, and the energy from the trap had changed part of the airport into a rock desert. Seo-jun equipped his armor, ready for the upcoming fight. Eartha explained that mutants from an overflow could interact with other dungeons, potentially causing chaos elsewhere. Just then, the airport wall exploded, and humans ran screaming from the monsters. A security guard fired his gun at a flame lizard monster, but the lizard swatted him away like a fly. Damn, that was a nasty fat lizard. While Seo-jun felt the lizard wasn't that strong, Eartha explained it was a Class 2 monster and warned him to be careful. Ignoring her, Seo-jun pulled out his new spear and destroyed the flame lizard in one hit. The passengers running away noticed someone fighting back and started cheering him on. Meanwhile, another flame lizard launched a fireball, which Seo-jun dodged. Unfortunately, he ran into another fireball from a second lizard, and the fireball hit him. The people cried out, thinking Seo-jun had died, but thankfully his armor blocked the attack, and he emerged unscathed. Seo-jun shouted at the lizards to attack him again, but the lizards were already fighting, thinking he had died. Even the passengers believed he was dead, despite him standing right beside them, shouting loudly. The human fighters and flame lizards continued their battle, while Seo-jun watched and waited. Seo-jun watches as the lizard men overwhelm the hunters, who are barely defending themselves. When one of the armored humans is about to be struck by a fireball, Seo-jun chillingly stands in the way and blocks the attack, increasing his aura by plus 1,000 and saving the human. He then dashes forward and stabs the flame lizard right in its head. The flame lizard recognizes Seo-jun as a strong warrior and starts clamoring to eat his record. Seo-jun doesn't understand what this record thing is, and, annoyed, he beheads the lizard man in a single slash. Suddenly, all the lizard men target Seo-jun, shouting that a strong warrior is here and that eating him would make them evolve. It looks like the monsters have their own quest and leveling system, which even surprises Seo-jun. The armored human Seo-jun saved earlier thanks him, and Seo-jun recognizes her voice as female. Deciding to act cool, he advises her to stay safe while walking away. She starts blushing, seeing Seo-jun as her hero. Meanwhile, Seo-jun feels smug and handsome even though his face is covered by a mask. Seo-jun continues his massacre of flare lizards outside, leveling up from their experience points. After killing more than 30 lizards, he reaches level 44. Seo-jun comments that the flame lizards just keep coming, so Eartha advises him to murder the leader first. She explains that the leader is the main cause of environmental changes, and without killing it, the monsters will keep spawning. Seo-jun thanks her for the advice, but it's easier said than done, especially when he's surrounded by an army of flame lizards. Forced to fight them all, Seo-jun uses his spear to deflect a fireball back into another group, creating a fiery explosion. This opens a gap, allowing Seo-jun to jump in and stab the lizards with his spear. The other hunters watch in amazement. It's hard for them to fight one lizard as a group, but Seo-jun is taking them all on by himself. Meanwhile, the red-armored hunter's girlfriend glares at him, clearly unimpressed. Ignoring this, Seo-jun jumps over the horde of lizards and surveys the surroundings. In the distance, he spots the leader, a huge gray flame lizard surrounded by subordinates. Using his momentum, Seo-jun crashes into the monsters, killing more than 10 lizards and leveling up to 45. However, the leader vanishes. Out of nowhere, a red armor hunter shouts at Seo-jun in Korean to move, claiming that a lizard is right behind him. The hunter expects Seo-jun to die, but Seo-jun slaps the lizard to death. While Seo-jun is distracted, the leader throws heavy rocks at him, causing the ground to crack and spiky stones to emerge at incredible speed. Seo-jun, however, rides the protruding rocks thanks to a skill he learned while surfing the ocean. Unfortunately, the rocks explode, making everyone think Seo-jun has died again. Seo-jun jumps out of the explosion unscathed, annoyed at the people constantly talking about his death. He then pulls out his newly created bazooka, which he had already loaded to level 4. The lizard leader, ready for a final clash, doesn't realize that Seo-jun's Black Tier 3 leopard material bazooka has a much faster firing speed. Before the fat lizard can react, Seo-jun fires the bazooka point-blank into its head with a bang. The lizard leader faints. The other lizards rush in to help their boss, and the humans slowly get overwhelmed. But this time, Seo-jun pulls out another weapon, this time a fucking large, great sword, and slices through the lizards. Meanwhile, the lizard leader, realizing how strong Seo-jun is, uses its remaining strength for a final attack. The whole area begins to rumble, rocks start to crack, and a huge stone spike emerges, forming a tower. The ground was breaking as Seo-jun and the lizard boss faced off. Just as the lizard boss began to taunt Seo-jun, calling him a puny little insect who would die, Seo-jun struck first with his weapon, instantly shutting the boss' mouth and killing him. Upon the boss's death, Seo-jun received around 2 million experience points. A system window appeared, showing that Seo-jun had obtained the records of a level 91 flame lizard. Seo-jun thought aloud about how these creatures, despite being lower level than the black leopard, could change entire environments. He considered it absurd, but acknowledged that mutant monsters were far stronger than their levels suggested. For Seo-jun, it was a shame how such power could exist. Afterward, Seo-jun ascended to join the others. Everyone stared at him with admiration, showering him with praise. A young man approached to check if Seo-jun was injured, while a girl offered to heal him if necessary. Seo-jun recognized them as the Korean couple he had noticed earlier. Eartha teasingly commented that Seo-jun seemed jealous of the couple. Seo-jun glared at her, retorting that she wouldn't understand what it felt like to be an outsider. Acting calmly, Seo-jun assured the couple that he was fine and told them to handle the remaining monsters, emphasizing that even one escaping could cause big trouble. The girl then asked her boyfriend if Seo-jun had completed his third-class change. The boy responded that he hadn't heard of anyone reaching that level so quickly. She remarked that Seo-jun seemed stronger than her appa. Clearly, Seo-jun had gained a fan. Meanwhile, Seo-jun continued hunting the remaining lizards, each kill adding to his experience points. While fighting, he muttered that no matter how hard he worked to kill them all, one would likely escape. He imagined a scenario where a surviving lizard might stare at his departing plane before running into the forest, causing another mutant incident in LA. Hearing this, Eartha made a face, dismissing it as ridiculous. Seo-jun, determined, shouted that he wouldn't let that happen. He noticed 2 lizards fleeing at 11 o'clock, leaped into action, and swiftly killed them, earning significant experience points. After ensuring that all the lizards were dead, Seo-jun asked if the area was clear. Eartha questioned how Seo-jun planned to store so many monster corpses. Now Seo-jun could store the bag's contents without limitations, but it became so heavy that he couldn't lift it. Falling to the ground, Seo-jun cracked the earth beneath him and demanded that Eartha find a way to manage the bag's weight. System windows showed that Seo-jun had completed the quest. Another window declared him the most successful participant and announced a special reward. Eartha chanted a spell and summoned 2 angels to assist her. Together, they created a mana tool to reduce the bag's weight. The modified bag became a third-dimensional bag, allowing Seo-jun to carry its contents effortlessly. Seo-jun liked this bag very much and thanked Eartha. While holding the bag, Seo-jun noticed the green-haired mommy angel smiling at him. She revealed that she had been watching him and explained that she was the angel of the Korean girl Seo-jun had recently met. Seo-jun, surprised, learned from Eartha that angels protect rare and talented humans for the sake of Earth. The angel introduced the girl as Yuna and explained that assisting her would also benefit Seo-jun, as Yuna was blessed by the goddess of beauty. Eartha quickly warned the angel not to reveal Seo-jun's abilities to Yuna, stressing that his information must remain confidential. The angel teasingly asked Eartha if she had a crush on Seo-jun, adding that Layla would be very angry if she did. This made Eartha angry, and the two started bickering in a cute way. Eventually, the angels left, though the mommy angel told Seo-jun to be nice to Yuna. Afterward, Eartha asked Seo-jun if he planned to help Yuna. Curious, she wondered if Seo-jun liked the girl. Seo-jun scoffed, dismissing the idea and declaring that he wasn't interested in her. It seemed Seo-jun had truly become a only angel man. Eartha sighed and handed Seo-jun the rest of his quest rewards. Among them was a skill called Superhuman Strength, which required no mana to use. Seo-jun appreciated the reward and thought it was a monster's skill, but he liked it nonetheless. The scene transitioned to an airplane interior. Yuna and her companion were seated, with Yuna looking puzzled. She mentioned that her angel Petha had told her Seo-jun was on the plane, but she couldn't spot him anywhere. Her companion advised her to lower her voice and fasten her seatbelt to avoid drawing attention. Then Yuna and her friend begin speculating about Seo-jun, wondering what kind of person he might be. Is he a muscular, manly man, or does he have a more feminine demeanor? Well, her friend did not like that Yuna was talking about that masked guy right in front of him. Yuna, noticing his irritation, asked why he was getting jealous. Unbeknownst to them, Seo-jun is seated directly behind them, overhearing everything. He remarks to himself that he'll likely keep running into them. The plane takes off and the scene shifts to a dense forest where Seo-jun is cooking food for Yuna and the boy. They love his cooking, and Yuna excitedly asks if he can make more for her. Beside them lies a massive dead scorpion they had killed together and were now eating. Seo-jun is visibly annoyed at having to work alongside them. He begins narrating how this situation came to be, saying that to explain this, they need to go back in time. The scene rewinds to a few days earlier, showing Seo-jun standing in front of a massive portal. The two of them stared at the entrance in astonishment, unable to comprehend what kind of entrance this was. Eartha moved closer to examine it and remarked that she had heard this was supposed to be a normal troll dungeon. However, after inspecting it carefully, she nervously concluded that it was a very rare phenomenon. 2 traps of destruction must have overlapped, causing 2 dungeons to combine into this massive one. She warned Seo-jun, explaining that a dungeon like this probably contained monsters other than trolls, so he should be extra careful. Suddenly, a notification appeared. Entry level limit, 50. As Seo-jun entered the dungeon, he asked Eartha what exactly she was trying to say. Eartha clarified that there were 2 field bosses in this dungeon, making it a Highland dungeon. As they ventured inside, they spotted a fat troll lying down to rest and immediately falling asleep on the spot. Seeing the troll's lazy behavior, Seo-jun exclaimed, "It fell asleep just 3 seconds after lying down. Is that a resting skill?" Eartha explained that trolls usually had resting skills, which were the secret behind their regeneration abilities. Seo-jun then asked if this was the reason troll blood was needed to evolve the resting skill. Without waiting for a response, Seo-jun, with a wicked smile, sneaked up behind the sleeping troll, grinning mischievously. "Goodbye," he whispered before attacking and ruthlessly killing the poor troll. "Rip troll, comment below for the virgin troll." Eartha couldn't help but think, that is the face of a villain. Seo-jun gained a large amount of experience points. A system window appeared, stating he had obtained the records of a level 72 Highlands troll. Another window showed his progress. 1 monster heart out of 500 collected, and only 3 liters of troll blood gathered out of the required 500 liters. Finding this task relatively easy, Seo-jun excitedly set out to slaughter more poor trolls. Meanwhile, the Korean couple arrived at the dungeon entrance, equally surprised by its size. They noted that the entry-level limit was only 50. Yuna's angel warned her to be cautious because dungeons often held unexpected dangers. However, the boy, clearly uninterested, urged her to hurry so they could obtain the scorpion poison and leave quickly. Yuna, excited, exclaimed that this was like a dungeon date. But the boy, exhausted, showed no enthusiasm. Elsewhere, Seo-jun was setting up camp in the jungle, cooking troll meat. As he ate excitedly, Eartha remarked in disbelief, asking if he was really satisfying his hunger with troll meat. She warned that it could be poisonous, but Seo-jun was unfazed, finding the meat delicious. A notification appeared. Deadly poison resistance skill has become level 2. Delighted, Seo-jun noted how quickly his poison resistance skill was improving. Eartha scolded him, pointing out that the skill level only increased because the meat he was eating was extremely toxic. Seo-jun simply shrugged and continued enjoying his meal. After eating, he rested near a tree, praising his own cooking skills. Reflecting on the situation, he told Eartha that it had been 5 days since they entered the dungeon, and he had only seen trolls. Despite making fires and cooking every day, no other monsters had appeared. Seo-jun found it strange. Eartha offered a theory, suggesting that his stealth effect might be hiding the fire and the smell of meat altogether. Shocked, Seo-jun exclaimed, "That's against the laws of physics," Eartha retorted, telling him to forget about the laws of physics, since his stealth effect could even fool the fucking god. The next morning, Seo-jun spotted his 500th troll wandering nearby. At this point, Seo-jun had murdered nearly the entire troll population along with their families, justifying it by saying he wanted their families to reunite in heaven. Though he had grown tired of eating troll meat, his desire for strength kept him going. He couldn't stop because the meat significantly increased his poison resistance and cooking skills. Seo-jun ambushed and killed the last troll, completing his task. Notifications appeared stating, he cannot reach level 50 without obtaining a secondary class. All records earned will now be calculated after choosing a secondary class. A path will be given based on his accomplishments and records. Choose a class. A trial matching the class will follow. Various class options appeared, leaving Seo-jun astonished. Eartha congratulated him, mentioning that he was finally getting his secondary class. She warned him, though, that many things could change. She explained the available classes. The Bloodlancer Expert would enhance his current abilities. The Battle Expert would make him proficient with all weapons and turn his body into a weapon. The Berserker was a relentless warrior who fought until either he or his opponent was dead. Seo-jun dismissed the first 2 classes and found the third too violent. Eartha reassured him that all 3 were strong and rare classes. Since they weren't mana-dependent, he could choose whichever he preferred. Curious, Seo-jun asked about the Rookie Reaper class. Eartha admitted she had never seen it before. She speculated that it must be an exclusive class, and that its name might not fully reflect its true nature. Despite some hesitation, Seo-jun grew excited and selected the Rookie Reaper class. Eartha had expected him to choose it. A new notification appeared. Rookie Reaper is a path to becoming a Reaper, a god of death who fairly brings death to all. It is the only path for one who has chosen to deal with death while alive. To prove himself, complete the following tasks. Kill 100 secondary class monsters with 1 hit in ambush, and kill 1 tertiary class monster with 1 hit. Seeing this, Seo-jun was shocked and overwhelmed. He sat down, disheartened, muttering that now he understood why so many people never advanced beyond level 50. How was he supposed to kill a tertiary class monster in 1 hit? Eartha asked if he had any solutions. Seo-jun replied that he would have to delay evolving his resting skill, but if he reinforced his weapon with ManhwaCapped using a mana stone, it might work. Suddenly, a loud explosion erupted nearby. Seo-jun turned to see Yuna being grabbed by a giant scorpion. She screamed for help as the scorpion held her tightly. Yuna starts crying profusely and her angel appears, scolding her for not being careful as she had been instructed earlier. Yuna, crying uncontrollably, pleads desperately, saying she'll even eat bell peppers from now on, so please save her. The boy attempts to save her but fails miserably. From a distance, Seo-jun and Eartha observe the chaotic struggle. Seo-jun, watching them fight, remarks, "Why are they struggling so much against such a weak-ass monster?" Eartha explains, "That can happen if someone is suddenly ambushed," adding that Seo-jun has never been ambushed and probably never will be. Seo-jun puts on his mask, muttering that he really didn't want to get involved with that couple, but couldn't just pass by either. He pulls out his weapon. Looking at it, Eartha comments, "Isn't that the skewer he used for eating his meal?" Ignoring her, Seo-jun hurls the weapon at the scorpion, shouting, "Take this, Metal Heart Steel Skewer!" Eartha is shocked and exclaims, "Did he seriously use such a precious material to make a meat skewer?" The skewer hits the scorpion, forcing it to release the girl. As she starts falling, Seo-jun swiftly catches her, but immediately tosses her toward the boy, where she lands right on top of him, both sharing an awkward hug. Seo-jun retrieves his skewer, charges at the scorpion, and with all his might, throws the skewer again, instantly killing the scorpion. As the scorpion dies, Seo-jun gains a significant amount of experience points. A system notification appears, stating that he has obtained the records of a level 78 giant sand scorpion. Additionally, his critical hit skill has leveled up to level 9. Looking at the scorpion's level, Seo-jun is surprised, thinking its level was higher than he had expected. Eartha explains that its primary weapon is poison, but since Seo-jun has deadly poison resistance, defeating it was easy for him. Seo-jun stares at the scorpion, pondering that the giant sand scorpion must taste amazing. He decides he should cook it well. Eartha can't help but scold Seo-jun, asking if all he ever thinks about is killing and eating monsters. Meanwhile, Yuna was laying on top of the boy while he was in pain. The green mommy angel looked worried for Yuna. When Yuna finally got up, she tried to help the boy as well. Just then, she looked at Seo-jun in awe and exclaimed, "He's LA's Dark Knight!" Seo-jun was confused. Yuna, excited, showed him a picture on her phone, explaining that he had been trending on Instagram. She added that people believed he was the US government's Dark Knight. Her friend commented that some even thought Seo-jun might be an FBI agent. Seo-jun, on the other hand, found their conversation completely absurd. Eartha, visibly annoyed, muttered, "As expected, the internet is just a waste. These evil things always ruin everything." Seo-jun couldn't help but wonder what had happened to make Eartha hate the internet so much. Yuna, however, noticed that Seo-jun was ignoring them and pointed it out. Her friend, amazed, remarked that Seo-jun already seemed busy dismantling the scorpion monster. Both of them found Seo-jun incredibly impressive. Later that night, Seo-jun prepared his meal, scorpion meat. The aroma was so appetizing that Yuna and her friend were practically drooling like zombies. They asked Seo-jun if they could have some. Seo-jun warned them that the food was poisonous and offered to make something else instead. But Yuna insisted, saying she could do something about the poison. Using her powers, she removed the poison from the food and declared it safe to eat. Seo-jun, annoyed, thought to himself, "They're both good-looking and skilled. God is so unfair." Eartha, equally amazed, remarks that Yuna is blessed by the goddess of beauty and her divine power is truly remarkable. Meanwhile, Seo-jun, feeling annoyed, thinks about how he was left alone for almost 1,000 years. However, thinking of Layla, he also feels blessed. Everyone enjoys the meal together, praising how delicious it is. After eating, Yuna and the boy thank Seo-jun and return to the present. Yuna smiles warmly at Seo-jun and asks, "Doesn't he feel bored being alone? Why doesn't he join their party?" But before she could finish, Seo-jun rejected her instantly. She tried again, suggesting that being next to a pretty girl like her would be fun. But once again, Seo-jun cut her off with another rejection before she could even finish. Yuna, pretending to be dramatic, turns to her friend and says, "I was rejected instantly even though I'm this pretty!" Seo-jun internally wonders, are these two not dating? They really seem like a couple. The boy steps forward, hands Seo-jun a card, and thanks him for saving his teammate. He tells Seo-jun to call them later using the number on the card, promising they'll repay him. Looking at the card, Seo-jun notices that it resembles the business card Mirai had given him. He thinks they must work for the same company. Yuna, smiling, also gives Seo-jun her business card, mentioning that they're only there for business and will head back to Korea afterward. However, the boy quickly covers her mouth, scolding her for revealing too much information. The duo bids farewell to Seo-jun and leaves. Watching them walk away, Seo-jun comments to himself that he'll probably run into them again in this dungeon. Eartha scolds Seo-jun, reminding him not to predict the future. Seo-jun smirks mischievously and remarks that he has no choice but to follow them now. Seeing his wicked smile, Eartha realizes Seo-jun has something evil in mind. Seo-jun explains that he has no choice because the scorpions won't attack him. We then see the boy and Yuna walking together. Yuna, frustrated, says she could have convinced Seo-jun to join them if she'd just seduced him a little longer, adding, "There's no way he'd resist unless he's gay." Meanwhile, her appa silently listens to all her nagging. Unbeknownst to them, Seo-jun is following closely, overhearing their conversation. He's walking just behind them, and they have no idea. It's not like Seo-jun is invisible or something. Man, I really need this skill so badly. Yuna begins praising Seo-jun for saving their lives and cooking for them. Hearing this, the boy comments how naive she is despite her age. Yuna smiles and responds that it's because he and Mirai have always protected her. Hearing this, Seo-jun asks Eartha, "Didn't you say this was a troll dungeon? Why are they here for scorpions?" Eartha nervously responds that she didn't know. She had thought only trolls lived there. Suddenly, a scorpion appears behind Yuna, ready to attack. Seo-jun swiftly kills it with a single strike, like killing a mosquito, gaining experience points. Eartha, looking at his weapon, asks, "How many skewers did he made already?" Seo-jun, pleased with himself, replies that he's calling this one Maharskew. He just came up with the name. Looking at the oblivious pair, Seo-jun remarks that a monster had appeared, and they didn't even notice because of his stealth skill. He wonders how they managed to get into trouble earlier when they have a guardian angel. Eartha explains that an angel's power on Earth is limited. Guardian angels aren't allowed to interfere much in human lives. They can only offer clues and advice. Seo-jun, jokingly, comments that they're practically useless. "What an inconvenience," he says. Annoyed, Eartha retorts that she is of great help to him. Yuna starts searching for the supergiant scorpion. Hearing this, the boy asks if she means the giant Deathstalker. Seo-jun, intrigued, remarks, "Its name is Giant Deathstalker? That sounds strong. Is that the dungeon boss?" Just then, Eartha looks ahead in shock. The boy and Yuna also turn, only to see a massive scorpion standing right in front of them. That humongous scorpion boss was just standing there, ready to devour its prey. But Yuna was just staring at the mega giant scorpion, stunned and impressed. This made her bodyguard pissed as fuck. He angrily urged her to snap out of it, yelling that this wasn't the fucking time to be impressed and demanding her to use her damn skill. Yuna immediately activated her skill, focusing on making Hajin stronger. Thanks to her skill, Hajin's body became slightly enhanced. With a burst of courage, he charged toward the scorpion, ready to attack. From a distance, Seo-jun and Eartha observed the chaos. Seo-jun casually noted that Hajin and Yuna formed a classic pair, a paladin and a healer. With that combination, Seo-jun believed he wouldn't need to intervene, as they could probably handle the situation themselves. Meanwhile, Yuna was cheering her heart out for Hajin, while he fought for his life. Suddenly, a huge fucking troll appeared behind her, eyes fixated on her ass, drooling and ready to take a big juicy bite of meat. Seo-jun noticed this shit show and realized that he would have to step in. Yuna turned around, her face as white as a sheet, when she saw the troll charging angrily at her. Terrified, she screamed and sprinted, begging Hajin to run too. Hajin, equally baffled, froze like an idiot, not knowing what the hell to do. Meanwhile, Yuna was crying her ass off, running for her life while the troll closed the distance. But before the troll could grab her, Seo-jun leaped in like a goddamn hero, holding a fucking max-level bazooka. Without hesitation, Seo-jun launched the rocket at full charge, creating a massive hole inside the troll's body and killing it instantly. With a resounding bang, the troll boss hit the ground, the impact sending shockwaves through the area and shocking both Hajin and Yuna. Hajin, absolutely stunned, struggled to comprehend what just happened, while Seo-jun, with his aura boosted by plus 1,000, casually landed on the troll's corpse. A system notification appeared, stating that Seo-jun had obtained the records of a level 95 giant troll king. Seo-jun observed the notification and realized that his attack power had increased by 50%, and his penetrative power had doubled to 100%. The bazooka, however, was destroyed after use. Eartha, unimpressed, commented that the weapon was a destroyer type, designed for overwhelming attacks with guaranteed kills, but breaking after a single use. Seo-jun nonchalantly remarked that it had to be that fucking strong to one-shot a Tier 3 monster. Turning his attention to Hajin and Yuna, Seo-jun said that his work there was done like he just did some floor cleaning, and then sired the duo to continue their fighting. Hajin was left speechless, still processing everything he had just witnessed. Even the scorpion paused momentarily, seemingly confused by the sudden chaos. But the scorpion quickly regained its composure and launched another attack on Hajin, who narrowly dodged it. Yuna, desperate, offered Seo-jun everything except the poison if he helped them kill the scorpion boss. Seo-jun, with a smug grin, accepted the deal. Hajin, visibly pissed, glared at Yuna for revealing such critical information. Yuna fired back, reminding him that now was not the time to argue. They needed Seo-jun's help. The scorpion, sensing an opportunity, grabbed Hajin in its massive claw. Seo-jun intervened once more, slashing the claw with his trusty BBQ skewer, freeing Hajin effortlessly. Seo-jun delivered a devastating punch to the scorpion, sending shockwaves through its entire body, leaving it writhing in agony. Yuna seized the moment, urging Hajin to attack while the scorpion was staggered. Despite his nerves, Hajin activated his skill, drawing on the power of Seo-jun's prior attack, and struck the scorpion with his sword. Eartha noted how Hajin's skill was influenced by the strength of the previous attack, which made his strike even more powerful. Seo-jun, unimpressed, commented that Hajin was much weaker than he had expected. Eartha countered, pointing out that not everyone was a monster like Seo-jun. Seo-jun smirked and charged at the scorpion once more, targeting the same spot as before. With a single devastating strike, Seo-jun finished it off. As the scorpion died, a system notification confirmed that Seo-jun had obtained the records of a level 95 giant Deathstalker. After the monster's defeat, everyone gathers near its massive corpse. Seo-jun announces that he has removed all the poisonous parts, presenting the scorpion's deadly sting and venom glands to the duo. Grateful for his help, both thank him profusely for saving their lives once again. Eartha, however, is in no mood for politeness. She grabs the mommy angel by the neck, accusing her of deliberately luring the scorpion to force Seo-jun into helping Yuna. The mommy angel, clearly intimidated, apologizes for her actions. Meanwhile, Seo-jun, completely ignoring the drama, contemplates the idea of eating the scorpion's meat, thinking it might actually taste delicious. Suddenly, Seo-jun notices something shimmering inside the scorpion's body. Intrigued, he moves closer and discovers a tertiary mana stone nestled within the beast. The angels are visibly startled upon seeing it, but Eartha continues to choke the mommy angel from behind. Watching the two angels brawl, Yuna cheerfully remarks that they seem like really good friends. After a while, Eartha finally, after sucking her dry, releases the mommy angel, who ends up doodling something on the ground with her liquid. On the other hand, Seo-jun holds the mana stone in his hands, and both he and Eartha feel a sense of accomplishment. Hajin then cheerfully suggests that Seo-jun return to Korea with them, inviting him to join their clan. Yuna, equally excited, chimes in, urging Seo-jun to come along and become part of their group. However, Seo-jun coldly declines their offer once again. The mommy angel, ever the peacemaker, encourages Seo-jun, explaining that humans improve by working together and compensating for each other's weaknesses. Yuna and Hajin continue to persist, practically begging him to join them, but Seo-jun remains firm, rejecting their offer again. Internally, Seo-jun feels a wave of depression wash over him. Watching the joy and camaraderie the duo share reminds him of how lonely he's been, suffering from the memories of being isolated for 1,000 years. Eartha, visibly annoyed, snaps at the duo, telling them to stop pestering Seo-jun and leave already. Disappointed, but still grateful for his help, Yuna and Hajin bid farewell and head off. Once they're out of sight, Seo-jun removes his mask and remarks to Eartha they're finally gone. Now his stealth skill should kick back in. Eartha, unimpressed, shrugs and dismissively tells him to do whatever the hell he wants. Seo-jun then picks up the mana stone, and a series of system windows appear in front of him. The notifications confirm that Seo-jun has killed 500 second-class monsters, gathered 500 liters of troll blood, completed 100 hours of sleep, and now possesses a mana stone from a third-class monster. With all the requirements fulfilled, the preparations for the evolution of his rest skill are now complete. Seo-jun started merging all the resources, and they began to glow brilliantly. As the process continued, a system window appeared, announcing that Seo-jun had obtained transcendent regeneration. Seo-jun was confused, unsure about what this new skill actually entailed. Another system window popped up explaining, "The body and mind will recover from damage quickly after taking an attack. At skill level 1, even if a finger went flying, it can regenerate in a flash. Once activated, the skill cannot be used again until enough energy is recovered. Other rest skill abilities remain unchanged." Reading this, Seo-jun was surprised. Eartha congratulated him and mentioned that once the skill reached a higher rank, he'd be able to survive even if his heart was pierced or his brain was smashed. At first, Seo-jun felt a bit odd about this revelation, but eventually smiled and admitted that it sounded like a great skill. Both Seo-jun and Eartha were genuinely pleased with this new development. Later, Seo-jun mentioned that he now needed to hunt 100 secondary class monsters to fulfill the Rookie Reaper requirement. While searching for targets, he noticed a large number of trolls and observed that their behavior seemed strange. He remarked to Eartha that the trolls were behaving differently than before. Previously, they were resting against trees, but now they were neither resting nor sleeping. Seo-jun struggled to understand this unusual behavior. Eartha urged him to just hurry up and murder the trolls along with their families. Over the next 2 days, Seo-jun hunted trolls throughout the dungeon, but only managed to kill 97. We then saw Seo-jun and Eartha cooking troll meat. Frustrated, Seo-jun commented that the number of trolls had significantly decreased. "There used to be one every 10 minutes, but now I barely see one every hour," Seo-jun remarked. "Plus, they're acting so strangely. Trolls don't want death, they want to go back. They're too lazy to run but still want to survive. It's like they have emotions, and they're being forced to fight." Seo-jun speculated that someone stronger might be controlling them. Eartha dismissed the idea, saying that he had already killed their leader, so it didn't make sense for anyone to be in control. However, Seo-jun insisted, saying, "It feels like another monster is behind this." Eartha hesitated, but eventually agreed, as Seo-jun's seventh sense had never been wrong before. Both of them felt that staying in the area for too long might be risky. After eating, the two decided to leave and head toward the exit gate. As they walked, Seo-jun noticed something strange and observed that the path looked different than before. Eartha took a closer look and after performing a quick chant, realized to her shock that the exit gate had disappeared. Seo-jun was startled by this revelation. Eartha panicked and exclaimed that the exit was gone, and to make matters worse, she couldn't communicate with the other angels. Seo-jun tried to calm her down, but Eartha nervously wondered if this could be an abandoned world. Seo-jun, clearly confused, asked her to explain what an abandoned world was. Eartha explained that God manages many worlds, and part of that responsibility is to help living beings in danger. However, sometimes monsters become too strong and wipe out entire species. When this happens, the god's control over that planet gets cut off. She continued, "In such cases, heaven sends higher beings to exterminate the demons and monsters. But in rare cases, a higher demon hiding in hell takes control of one of these worlds. When that happens, the world becomes an abandoned world, hidden from the gods. Any angels entering such a world lose all communication with the heavens." Seo-jun thought for a moment and said, "This place isn't an abandoned world, it's just a dungeon on Earth." Eartha agreed, but was still confused about what the hell was happening. Before she could finish her thoughts, Seo-jun suddenly sensed danger. In a flash, he grabbed Eartha and pulled her down. They narrowly avoided an attack. Someone had tried to strike Eartha to kill her, but Seo-jun's quick reflexes saved her just in time. A deadly black scythe was lunged into the ground as Seo-jun and Eartha turned to face their attacker. Standing before them was a figure resembling a reaper, wielding a massive, ominous black scythe. With a heavy and creepy voice, whispers from the surrounding monsters filled the air, echoing, "He found the new record!" Neither Seo-jun nor Eartha could make sense of what the hell they were seeing. Eartha shouted internally that it was an unrecorded monster. She didn't even know what the hell this thing was. Eartha urgently thought that if Seo-jun survived this shit show and managed to save her, she would reward him. But for fuck's sake, Seo-jun can't die here. If he died, Layla would definitely kill her. The Reaper didn't give a shit about pleasantries. It immediately swung its scythe, aiming for Seo-jun's neck. Seo-jun barely dodged the strike, muttering to himself about what the hell just happened. It was far stronger than any goddamn Highlands troll leader he had faced. But no way in hell was he losing to this bastard. Even if it was terrifyingly strong, it was still a tertiary-class monster. His mind raced as he realized he hadn't even sensed the Reaper until it was about to slice Eartha in two. That means this thing using stealth too? Meanwhile, Eartha, clearly shaking, thought with desperation about how Seo-jun had to live through this. She believed he could do it, but her nerves were shot. Suddenly, the Reaper struck again, muttering records like some deranged lunatic. Seo-jun dodged and growled in his mind. What the fuck is it on about with this records shit? What does that even mean for him? To make things worse, Seo-jun's pile bunker was destroyed, leaving him with just a goddamn spear. His armor wasn't much better, it was basically just a strong shield. Ambushing this asshole wasn't an option either. The Reaper moved closer, raising its hand to cast some spell. Seo-jun sensed the danger and reacted in an instant. He leapt into the air, narrowly dodging the spiky thorns that erupted beneath him. The Reaper, unfazed, locked its gaze on Seo-jun. As Seo-jun soared above, he pulled out his spear and slammed it down with everything he had. The attack landed with a sickening crunch, but to Seo-jun's frustration, it barely left a goddamn scratch on the Reaper. What the hell is this bullshit? Seo-jun thought furiously. Eartha, trying to keep herself together, analyzed the situation. The level difference between Seo-jun and the Reaper was almost a whooping 100. The fact that Seo-jun managed to even scratch it was a goddamn miracle, thanks to his skills and that badass weapon of his. The Reaper, clearly pissed off, charged towards Seo-jun with a snarl, calling him weak but strong at the same fucking time. Seo-jun and the Reaper clash in a fight that could only be described as deadly. Both exchange blows, with Seo-jun barely managing to dodge the Reaper's scythe. Seo-jun lands a powerful strike with his spear, but the Reaper effortlessly dodges and questions Seo-jun with an eerily calm tone, asking why he is strong while still being weak. He ominously adds that he will keep Seo-jun's record. Hearing the word record again, Seo-jun becomes irritated and shouts internally for the Reaper to shut the hell up. Before Seo-jun could act further, the Reaper spins 360 degrees, his massive black scythe puncturing Seo-jun's stomach. But thanks to his legendary armor, Seo-jun's body isn't ripped apart, but the impact destroys his armor entirely. The blow was so heavy that Seo-jun could feel his bones screaming in pain. Seo-jun quickly realizes that the Reaper is far more powerful than he initially thought. Adding to his woes, the Reaper casts a magic spell on himself, and Seo-jun immediately senses the mana. The Reaper hurls a spear at Seo-jun, who narrowly dodges it, but as soon as the spear hits the ground, sharp spikes erupt, nearly impaling him. The battle continues with Seo-jun attempting to counterattack, but the Reaper repeatedly creates spikes from the ground and lands deadly blows on Seo-jun. Meanwhile, Eartha notices a spike rushing toward her head. Seo-jun, acting instantly, throws his body in front of Eartha, taking the spike to his shoulder. The spike tears through Seo-jun's shoulder, leaving it punctured and bleeding. It was the first time Seo-jun had taken such significant damage, and he screams, "This shit hurts like hell!" Eartha, visibly nervous, notes that Seo-jun has poison resistance and a strong regenerative ability. Yet despite these advantages, Seo-jun's wound fails to heal. Instead, his arm begins turning black. Alarmed, Eartha realizes that Seo-jun is cursed. She knows the situation is more dire than it seems. She flies into the air and urges Seo-jun to keep fighting, saying that her presence would only make things harder for him. Eartha desperately tells Seo-jun to promise that he will survive until she returns with help. Seo-jun, with a grim smile, reassures her, stating that it's impossible for a mere reaper to kill him. Despite his words, the curse continues spreading, his hand slowly going numb. Seo-jun calmly puts on his mask, declaring that he doesn't feel any despair at all. The scene shifts, and we see Yuna searching for an exit but finding nothing. Meanwhile, Eartha is panicking, cursing her restricted powers and lamenting the dangerous situation Seo-jun is in. She prays desperately in the darkness. Elsewhere, Hajin and Yuna attempt to use an exit scroll, but it fails to work. Just as they begin to panic, a crash shakes the ground. Everyone turns to see Eartha landing hard, startling them. She immediately calls out to her childhood friend Pytha, demanding his help and reminding him of his debt. Meanwhile, Seo-jun had been going toe-to-toe with the Reaper for 10 brutal minutes, but not a single fucking scratch was visible on the Reaper. The bastard kept taunting Seo-jun, asking why he wasn't dead yet. "Why won't this asshole just shut the fuck up?" Seo-jun thought, throwing every ounce of strength into a final, devastating strike. But the curse was draining his energy like a blood-sucking leech, leaving him unable to move. Frustration and despair welled up inside Seo-jun as he remembered his promises to Eartha, Yuna, and even himself. He thought about his parents, his unfinished business in life. Finally, Seo-jun recalls Layla. The memory of her strengthens his resolve as the black curse spreads further across his body. He whispers that he misses her deeply. The Reaper takes advantage of Seo-jun's weakened state, slashing at his neck. As Seo-jun begins to fade, he sees Layla's face flash before his eyes. Just as everything seems lost, Seo-jun disappears from the Reaper's sight. The Reaper is confused, scanning the area until he spots Yuna, who had arrived to save Seo-jun. She activates her divine protection and heals him. Seo-jun, lying on the ground but slowly recovering, mutters that his foreshadowing has been fulfilled. His vision had become reality, and with it, Seo-jun begins to believe that his ability to see the future may truly awaken in the near future. Slowly, a warm, golden aura starts enveloping Seo-jun's body. Bit by bit, his entire body begins to heal, and the cursed blackness on his hand starts fading away. Seeing this miraculous recovery, Seo-jun is genuinely surprised, realizing that Yuna's healing ability is insanely strong. Clenching his hand tightly, he thinks that at this rate he might just pull it off. Once again, the Reaper lunges at Seo-jun with deadly precision. But this time, Seo-jun dodges effortlessly, like it was no big deal. Even the Reaper seems thrown off by this sudden change. Seo-jun smirks and taunts, saying the Reaper shouldn't be so shocked just yet. There's a lot more to come. But inside, Seo-jun feels a chill, thinking about how damn close he came to dying earlier. If Yuna and Hajin hadn't shown up, it would have been game over for him. Meanwhile, Hajin stands frozen, his brain short-circuiting at the sight before him. His thoughts are racing. What the hell is such a dangerous monster doing in this dungeon? The Reaper looks like it came straight out of someone's worst nightmare, towering over Seo-jun. Hajin is so startled that Yuna snaps at him, scolding him to get it together and help Seo-jun. Trembling like a leaf, Hajin reluctantly raises his shield and charges toward the Reaper, even though every instinct is screaming at him to run. From behind, Yuna applies divine protection on Hajin, boosting his courage. Hajin slams his shield into the Reaper, and though the Reaper barely moves, it actually stumbles a little. Hajin, wide-eyed, wonders how the hell his attack even worked. Mommy Angel watches in stunned silence, her face twisting with disbelief. Yuna and Hajin's best attacks barely made a dent in the Reaper. How in the world are they supposed to fight a monster like that? Artha, observing from a distance, is equally shocked, but manages to point out that the Reaper being pushed back is a testament to Yuna's potential. With more time, Yuna could become a legendary support. Flying over to Seo-jun, Artha quickly checks on him. Seo-jun, still grinning through the pain, reassures her that nothing will take him down. As Artha discusses the next plan with Seo-jun, he calmly tells her that if he can buy just a little time, he might be able to change the tides. Turning to Hajin, Seo-jun asks him how long he can hold his ground against the Reaper. Already looking like he's about to pass out, Hajin nervously responds, asking if Seo-jun expects him to last 10 whole minutes. Seo-jun shakes his head, clarifying that Hajin isn't supposed to defeat the Reaper. He just needs to survive long enough to give Seo-jun time for his next move. Hajin exchanges a worried glance with Yuna and says that with her help, he might be able to hold for 30 seconds. Seo-jun, raising an eyebrow, mutters that 30 seconds is crazy short, but it'll have to do. With a confident smirk, he tells Hajin to hold for 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds, and he'll handle the rest. The scene shifts, and Hajin is now standing, shield raised, in front of the Reaper, bolstered by Yuna's divine protection. The Reaper strikes with ferocity, but Hajin remains rooted in place, unable to move but shielded by Yuna's power. Despite the protection, the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife, and it feels like the entire world is holding its breath. Mommy Angel, watching this insane scene, remarks coldly that if this continues, both Hajin and Yuna are toast. While she doesn't give a damn about Hajin, she insists that Yuna must survive. Artha, glaring at her, retorts that Seojun only needs 30 seconds, and once those seconds are up, he'll turn the tables. Artha's faith in Seojun is unshakable, but Mommy Angel presses on, asking what will happen if Seojun is late or if he doesn't have a trump card. Artha, annoyed, replies that Seojun's trump card is almost ready. He just needs to kill 3 more trolls to unleash it. The scene shifts again, showing Seojun moving at lightning speed, appearing out of nowhere to slaughter 3 trolls in one brutal strike. The sight leaves Mommy Angel dumbfounded. She turns to Artha and demands to know why Seojun is fighting trolls when he's supposed to be dealing with the Reaper. Artha explains that Seojun only needs to kill 3 trolls to complete his second-class advancement. Once this is done, Seojun will become so powerful that defeating the Reaper will be within his grasp. We see Seojun finally kill his 100th troll, fulfilling all the criteria required. As a result, Seojun's entire body and injuries instantly heal to full health. The system notifies Seojun that he has officially become a Rookie Reaper. Now, the real battle begins. A fight between a Rookie Reaper and a full-fledged Reaper. The system further notifies Seojun that his stealth effect has been enhanced by 10%. The chances of a critical hit and attack power when ambushing an enemy are increased by 30%. On top of that, Seojun's attack power receives a permanent boost of 20%. Seojun's stealth skill advances even further, reaching a whole new level of effectiveness. He also ascends to level 53, and his body begins to sparkle with an otherworldly glow. The system announces that Seojun has learned a new passive skill, Death Collector. This skill will allow him to become stronger by absorbing the life energy of his enemies. However, the system reminds Seojun that he cannot use mana yet until he chooses a subclass. Seojun doesn't have time to select a subclass right now. Calculating quickly, he realizes only 20 seconds remain until he can reach Yuna. On the other hand, the scene shifts to Hajin, whose condition is rapidly deteriorating. Despite all the divine protection Yuna has provided, Hajin's hand is about to be severed, and his entire armor lies in ruins. Hajin looks at the Reaper towering before him and comes to a grim realization. His death is inevitable here. He can't help but think, how in God's name did Seojun survive fighting this monster for 10 whole minutes? The Reaper raises its massive black scythe, ready to slice Hajin into 2. But just as the blade descends, Yuna unleashes her full divine protection. This last-ditch effort keeps Hajin from dying instantly, but it shatters his shield. His armor is completely destroyed, and he collapses onto the ground with a heavy bang. Hajin lies there, barely conscious, knowing he's powerless to save Yuna now. The fucking Reaper, with its sinister grin, stands before Yuna, gripping its massive scythe. From behind, Mommy Angel is visibly panicked and shouts at Yuna to run. But the Reaper has no intention of letting its prey escape. Yuna gently lays Hajin's battered body on her lap, fully accepting her fate. In her mind, death is inevitable. But just as despair threatens to consume her, a warm and calm voice breaks through the tension, offering a single suggestion: they should form a party. Hajin immediately recognizes the voice, his mind snapping to attention. The system notifies Hajin that he has been invited to a party. As Hajin reads the names, his heart soars. Yuna, Hajin, Seojun. Like a goddamn hero out of a storybook, Seojun finally appears before Hajin and Yuna. Hajin's face lights up with the biggest smile, and he's just about to say something, perhaps to express his relief or gratitude. But damn! With a plus 10,000 aura point and his deadly, creepy, glowing eyes locking onto the Reaper, Seojun slowly raises a single finger to his lips
and whispered only one word.
Walking slowly toward the Reaper. After that, the scene shifts, and we see Hajin. The moment Hajin looks at Seojun's back, he immediately understands that he is safe. A deep sense of relief washes over him, and he feels like he's looking at an older brother. Suddenly, Hajin relaxes completely, letting his body slump down as he lies there. A small smile spreads across his face. Yuna, however, doesn't understand why Hajin is so relaxed. Hajin remains lying on Yuna's lap as she gently places her hand on his head. Hajin admits that he never thought of himself as weak, but today he feels finished. On the other hand, the scene shifts, and we see the Reaper laughing maniacally, his voice echoing with madness. Meanwhile, Seo-jun slowly approaches the Reaper, his eyes sharp and calculating. Seo-jun notices something. The Reaper had recognized him before, but after his class advancement, Seo-jun's strength had evolved so much that the Reaper no longer recognizes him. This was great news. Seo-jun activates his superhuman strength, boosting his attack power by 10 times. With all his might, Seo-jun prepares to unleash a powerful thrust with his spear, aiming for the Reaper's chest. The Reaper finally notices Seo-jun's approach, but it's too fucking late. With a resounding bang, Seo-jun strikes the Reaper's chest with a critical hit from his spear. The force is so immense that the impact sends a massive cloud of smoke into the air. As the smoke clears, Seo-jun's expression turns to shock. The Reaper's mask has fallen off, revealing the face of a beautiful woman underneath. She looks at Seo-jun with sad, emotional eyes, her gaze filled with pain and gratitude. Seo-jun, still gripping his spear, is momentarily frozen. He doesn't know what the fuck to do. The woman becomes emotional, and tears start streaming down her face. She thanks Seo-jun with a voice trembling from years of agony. It becomes clear to Seo-jun that this woman had been suffering terribly, and that his attack had finally freed her. Seo-jun carefully pulls his spear out of the woman's body, and as he does, a dense, deadly demonic aura bursts out, engulfing the surrounding area. A system notification flashes before Seo-jun, stating that he has killed the Reaper and gained 31 million experience points. Seo-jun advances 3 fucking levels and is now level 55. His strength increases by 4 points, while his stamina and mana increase by 2 each. Seo-jun can't comprehend whether this woman had been under a curse or if he had released her from one. He's never gained this many experience points before. The system further notifies Seo-jun that he has obtained the record of killing level 157 Latacarian. Due to Seo-jun's Death Collector skill, he absorbs the entire life force of her, so her name was Latacarian. In her last moment, her face was illuminated by a warm, satisfied smile like she was finally free. Meanwhile, Yuna and Hajin come running towards Seo-jun, both wearing expressions of shock and concern. Yuna appears worried about Seo-jun, while Hajin is clearly thankful. Hajin is amazed that he leveled up 4 to 5 levels without even fucking doing anything. As the pair approach Seo-jun, their shock behind the Reaper's face was a beautiful, innocent woman. Hajin and Yuna were stunned. They look at the woman closely, her expression filled with sympathy and sadness. She feels bad, wondering how this woman ended up in such a condition. But Seo-jun? He isn't as affected. He's rummaging through his magical third-dimensional bag, searching for something. Seo-jun is pulling something out of his magical third-dimensional bag, while Hajin, Yuna, and the others are busy discussing what could have happened to the poor woman that turned her into a Reaper. However, Hajin notices that Seo-jun is up to something. The next moment, Seo-jun, with a goddamn psychopathic smile and the demeanor of a true butcher, pulls out a knife from his bag. His deep, menacing voice echoes as he declares that he will finish things up as usual. Eartha immediately shouts at Seo-jun to stop. Seo-jun glares at Eartha and questions why he should stop. Eartha, clearly concerned, asks if he's really planning to butcher the woman. Seo-jun, with a tone colder than ice, simply says yes, adding that to him the woman is just another monster. Eartha desperately pleads, insisting that the woman isn't a monster but a human. Seo-jun, clearly unimpressed, responds that he doesn't give a shit and will proceed to butcher the Reaper's body. He casually points out that the Reaper's skin could make for a powerful armor. Eartha continues to protest, but suddenly a strange black aura starts emanating from the Reaper's body. Seo-jun, visibly disheartened, begins doodling on the ground with his knife like a bored child denied his fun. Meanwhile, Hajin is utterly confused as the Reaper's body begins to vanish into thin air. Eartha questions Seo-jun about why the body disappeared. Seo-jun speculates that perhaps the Reaper wasn't just a monster, but a breaker. Hearing this, Eartha is visibly shocked. Seo-jun, curious, asks Eartha what the hell a breaker is. Eartha explains that breakers are individuals who consumed mana stones and became corrupted by the monstrous mana within. In this case, the Reaper likely consumed the core of a deadly monster, which overwhelmed her and transformed her into a monster herself. Eartha also notes something even more concerning. This woman wasn't from Earth. Judging by her features, she might be from another planet, possibly an elf. This revelation intrigues Seo-jun, who listens intently as Eartha continues. The Reaper's body, now reduced to ash, vanishes completely. Seo-jun, frustrated that he couldn't butcher her, perks up when he finds something left behind in the Reaper's clothing. In Seo-jun's hand is a purple mana stone. He grins and remarks that although he didn't get to butcher, he still obtained the mana stone of a Class 3 Reaper monster. Alongside the stone, Seo-jun also collects the Reaper's black scythe and armor, now lying on the ground. At that moment, Mommy Angel approaches Eartha, informing her that the dungeon's entrance has reopened. Eartha confirms that her ability to communicate with other angels has also returned. Despite the victory over the Reaper, Eartha remains uneasy. This advanced dungeon, far more powerful than any higher being should have allowed, and the existence of a Reaper who was also a breaker defy all logic. A third-class advancement like this shouldn't exist on Earth. Eartha is overwhelmed by the sheer number of strange and dangerous anomalies cropping up. Turning to Seo-jun, Eartha smiles, despite her unease, and tells him that as long as he's by her side, nothing will happen to Earth. Seo-jun smirks back, confidently proclaiming that he's truly amazing. Eartha, silently reflecting, realizes that the more time she spends with Seo-jun, the more attached she becomes to him. Hajin bowed his head and thanked Seo-jun for saving his life, but Seo-jun in return thanked Hajin and Yuna, saying that if they hadn't shown up at the right time, he wouldn't have survived. Hearing this, Hajin became agitated and climbed onto Seo-jun, insisting that Seo-jun had done so much for them. Hajin shouted that without Seo-jun, he and Yuna would never have made it out of the dungeon alive. Seo-jun, slightly annoyed but grateful for Hajin's forceful nature, accepted the thanks. Then, casually holding the Reaper's mana stone and black scythe, he smirked and said that since Hajin was so thankful, it wouldn't be a problem if he took both the mana stones. Hajin was momentarily startled, but before he could say anything, Seo-jun continued, saying that taking all the loot wouldn't be an issue. Yuna interrupted, saying that Seo-jun could take all the loot on one condition. He had to give her his number. Her tone turned seductive, and she leaned closer, asking in a cute yet teasing way. Seo-jun, with a face full of disgust, blocked her advances and coldly refused. Yuna was taken aback, but found herself even more impressed by his rejection. Turning to Hajin, Yuna commented on how surprising it was that Seo-jun had refused her. Hajin replied that it was the first time in his life he'd seen Yuna rejected by a man. Seo-jun, unfazed, added that while Yuna was definitely pretty, she wasn't anywhere near as pretty as Layla. Plus, he didn't like extroverts like Yuna, so she was a definite no. Yuna, still shocked, demanded that if Seo-jun wouldn't give her his number, he could at least tell her his name. Seo-jun, refusing again, tried to brush her off, but Yuna's cuteness aura was too bright, and Seo-jun finally relented, revealing his name. Yuna's amazement only grew, and she started bombarding him with more questions. Hajin, watching from the side, thought to himself that this was the first time he'd seen Yuna act so boldly with a man. It was also the first time he'd seen a man reject Yuna so many times. Hajin gave a depressed smile, thinking to himself that Seo-jun and Yuna were like different species, impossible to understand with normal human logic. The scene shifted as Seo-jun, Yuna, and Hajin finally emerged from the dungeon. As soon as they stepped outside, they were greeted by another armed angel radiating an overwhelming aura. Hajin and Yuna were stunned. Eartha immediately approached the higher-level angel and began reporting all the incidents that had taken place. Seo-jun, observing the higher being, was startled, thinking, "Is this Eartha's superior?" The sheer presence of the angel was more powerful than anything Seo-jun had ever felt. After listening, the higher angel approached Seo-jun, thanking him for saving Eartha and Pytha's lives. As a reward, the higher being promised to grant Seo-jun something. Seo-jun, maintaining his usual attitude, replied that he hadn't done it for the reward, but if the reward wasn't free, he'd definitely take it. The higher angel, however, turned serious, explaining that the incident was far more serious than anticipated. As a result, Eartha would be taken to heaven for further discussion. The angel, along with others, began sealing the dungeon. Seo-jun clenched his fists as thoughts raced through his mind. Will such fucking dangerous monsters keep appearing on Earth? Was this dungeon really created by me? Or was it the work of some higher demonic being? Despite his confusion, Seo-jun couldn't stop the wave of anger inside him. He swore that he wouldn't spare anyone responsible for this shit show. With his hands still clenched, Seo-jun made a vow. I'll become so fucking strong that no one, not even the gods, will be able to harm me. His determination burned brighter than ever. As the angels completed sealing the dungeon, the higher being turned to Seo-jun with a warm smile. Before leaving, the angel delivered a message from Layla. Layla really misses Seo-jun. Hearing Layla's name, Seo-jun's face lit up with happiness and his body seemed to rejuvenate. But just as he began to process this, a thought struck him. He turned back toward the higher angel, wanting to ask more about Layla. However, before Seo-jun could say anything, the higher angel bid him farewell, promising to send Eartha back after her work was done. Seo-jun shouted loudly, desperately asking for more information about Layla, but it was too late. The higher angel had already disappeared. The scene shifted again, and we saw Hajin and Yuna returning to Korea via the airport. As they stepped out, a black sedan pulled up, and Mira emerged to greet them. Yuna, overjoyed to see her bestie, immediately began recounting everything. She told Mira about how Hajin got his ass beaten and how they'd nearly died. Mira, with a warm smile, listened intently, saying she wanted to hear more. Yuna explained every detail, including how a Korean guy using a spear had saved their lives. Hearing this, Mira's expression shifted. Her eyes widened as she realized that the man they were talking about could only be Seo-jun. Thinking about Seo-jun, Mira's lips curled into a smile. Noticing this, Hajin asked if Mira knew the masked men. Mira, hiding her thoughts, smiled and denied knowing him, claiming she'd never heard of such a name. After that, Mira thanked Hajin and Yuna, explaining that thanks to them, she would now be able to complete her second-class advancement. It turned out that the scorpion's poison was exactly what she needed for her advancement, a mission Hajin and Yuna had set out to complete. Then the scene shifts, and we see Seo-jun arriving home happily, only to find no one there. His mom left a letter saying she had gone to the other world to buy fresh seafood. Seo-jun reads it, baffled that his mom would casually go to another world just for grocery shopping. Taking a moment, Seo-jun finally heads to the shower, letting out a relieved sigh. He begins to think that maybe his mom is much stronger than he had initially believed. Memories flood his mind as he recalls that while his dad may be weak, his mom had always shown signs of immense strength. In fact, her abilities have surpassed Seo-jun's stealth and active skills. Seo-jun reflects on how his mom could find him even in a crowd, something not even God could manage. For a moment, he wonders if his mom is stronger than God himself. Shrugging off the thought, Seo-jun finishes his shower and decides to head to his workshop. Once there, he begins cutting all the monster meat he'd collected earlier, wielding his butchering knife with precision. Looking at the mountain of meat, Seo-jun realizes there's no way he can eat it all himself. Puzzled about what to do with the excess, a scream suddenly pierces the room. It's the eternal flame behind him, burning wildly as if demanding to eat. Seo-jun smirks, realizing what it wants. He starts cooking the meat on the eternal flame, ensuring it's done deliciously. Once finished, he feeds the remaining meat to the flame. Watching the flame consume the food, Seo-jun can't help but grin. As a bonus, his cooking skill begins leveling up at an insanely fast rate. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to heaven for the first time in the series. A judge stands surrounded by a congregation of angels, their expressions serious. A higher being begins speaking, stating that an elf from the planet Daryu had been polluted by a demonic being. The elf was an exceptionally talented girl. However, the judge raises a critical question. How did this elf come to Earth, the supreme angel, voicing two main concerns? First, how could a part of an abandoned world pierce through time and space to connect to an earthen dungeon? And second, why did this happen specifically in a dungeon with an overlap trap of destruction? The Supreme Angel speaks next, emphasizing that if Seo-jun hadn't killed the Reaper, both Eartha and Pytha might have died. Furthermore, if Eartha had collided with the other world, it could have triggered an incursion that would have combined both worlds, leading to their destruction. As the gravity of the situation sinks in, a dickhead angel bursts out laughing. With a smirk, he mocks the idea that a mere human could have defeated a Tier 3 breaker on his own. He asks if the Supreme Angel is high on sugar. Pytha's anger boils over. She retorts that Seo-jun hadn't fought alone. Yuna was also there, fighting alongside him. But the dickhead angel isn't convinced. Sneering, he declares that the human must be suspicious. The dickhead angel suggests that before anything else, they should investigate this human. He proposes they question Seo-jun to see if he has made a contract with a demon. He firmly believes that there's no way a mere human could achieve such a feat without help from something sinister. Layla was hearing all this bullshit about his love. Finally, her wires got snapped. Furious, she shouts that the dickhead angel should shut his mouth. She declares that her Seo-jun is that strong because he worked his ass off for 1,000 years. She passionately defends him, saying that her Seo-jun is truly a good kid. Hearing her heartfelt words, all the angels fall silent for 2 seconds. The entire court becomes so quiet it feels like time has stopped. Supreme Angel finally speaks, stating that there are angels who have been accompanying Seo-jun, and no suspicious activity has been found about him. Eartha adds her voice, saying that Seo-jun has protected her and many other angels. Not only that, Eartha emphasizes that she has been with Seo-jun for a long time and has never sensed any demonic energy from his body. In fact, she describes Seo-jun as pure-hearted, with demonic being an idea far too distant to associate with him. Hearing these statements, the dickhead angel falls silent. The Supreme Angel then announces his decision, concluding that they cannot come to a final verdict at this moment. Therefore, he decides to quadruple the number of angels on Earth to continue the investigation. He also declares that, to restore balance, God has decided to reward humans who have shown excellent progress, like Artha and Pytha. God has further decreed that more guardian angels will be sent to certain humans to watch over them. The Supreme Angel warns that if the abnormal world and Earth connect again, they may be unable to fix the consequences. After delivering this speech, the Supreme Angel dispatches all the angels to Earth, assigning them as guardian angels for the strongest hunters. However, the Supreme Angel suddenly pauses and stops Layla and Eartha. He says they must remain behind because he has something important to discuss with them. Layla, genuinely confused and visibly annoyed, tries to understand what the Supreme Angel wants to talk about. After a moment, Layla, Eartha, and Pytha stand before the Supreme Angel as he speaks. The Supreme Angel asks them a crucial question. Since they know Seo-jun so well, what gift do they think would make him the happiest? Hearing this, Layla becomes agitated, but also excited. She quickly suggests that if she were allowed to go to Earth to help Seo-jun, it would make him very happy. Eartha, however, argues that the Supreme Angel would never agree to such an idea. To their surprise, the Supreme Angel gives a warm smile and says that Layla may do as she pleases. He even grants her full authority to assist Seo-jun in any way she deems necessary. Hearing this, Layla's happiness skyrockets beyond heaven. She becomes so overjoyed that she starts dancing right then and there. Meanwhile, Eartha is shocked. She knows the Supreme Angel has a strict reputation. He's a being of pure justice, not one to show favoritism, yet here he is, making an exception. The Supreme Angel once again becomes serious and declares that this is the will of God. He expresses a strong feeling that Seo-jun may very well be the one who can restore Earth back to normalcy. The scene then shifts to Seo-jun, who is busy blacksmithing, creating a new weapon for himself. He is so deeply engrossed in his work, thinking about how to make the weapon stronger, that he doesn't even realize it's already 1 o'clock. After that, the scene shifts, and Seo-jun is in his workhouse. It's nighttime, and an intense glow radiates from his workshop, illuminating the dark surroundings. Seo-jun has just created a new weapon, a unique grade bazooka this time. This masterpiece can be charged up to level 4 with a much longer duration than his previous one. Unlike last time, this bazooka won't be completely destroyed when fired at maximum potential. This brutal weapon, crafted by Earth's best artisan, is a response to the lessons Seo-jun learned during the Reaper incident. If only he had a bazooka then, maybe he could have fucked up that Reaper on equal footing. Realizing how close he came to death, Seo-jun smirks, deciding to create so many weapons that he'll never run out, even in his lifetime. His next project takes form in his mind, a long-range weapon with a deadly hook at its end. This weapon would have more destructive power and range than anything he's made before. Paired with his spear art skill effect, it will be a perfect match, allowing him to throw the weapon farther than ever. His eyes sparkle with excitement as he gets to work. While crafting, Seo-jun's focus shifts to the Reaper's robe and black scythe. His expression turns serious as he decides to examine the loot first. The system notifies Seo-jun that the robe is the stealthy Reaper's fallen robe, a unique grade item. Its defensive power is 2400, and its durability is also 2400. Wearing it increases stealth by 20%. The robe has been consumed by dark mana over many years, granting it the power of a grim reaper. But the real game changer is the Black Scythe. This unique grade weapon is made of an unknown material that Seo Jun has never encountered before. Its attack power is only 3,100, but its primary feature is a critical hit chance increase of 40%. The scythe was forged by the last artisan of a destroyed world using a mysterious metal that now excites Seo Jun. This is some next-level shit, he thinks, his mind racing with possibilities. Determined to forge something new, Seo Jun feeds the scythe to the eternal flame to melt it down. But the unexpected happens. The eternal flame refuses to eat the metal. For the first time, Seo Jun realizes this metal is too powerful, even for the eternal flame to digest. The eternal flame, now pissed the hell off, takes it personally. It grows massive in size, its once bright hue shifting to a dark, menacing red. A demonic aura begins to radiate from the flame as it attempts to melt the mysterious metal. Suddenly, a dark, poisonous gas leaks from the metal, and the eternal flame explodes to 10 times its normal size. The once controlled flame now seethes with fury, its aura turning nightmarish. Seo Jun grabs his spear, realizing he's fucked if he doesn't act fast. What the hell is going on? He wonders, watching the eternal flame transform into a dark, menacing beast. The eternal flame, now a chaotic, demonic entity, stands before Seo Jun, its dark aura oozing death. Seo Jun steadies his spear, his body tense as he prepares to fight the very force he once relied on. But suddenly, the eternal flame spits out a purple-colored mana crystal. The mana crystal falls to the ground, and as soon as it hits the surface, all the dark aura disappears. Seo Jun doesn't understand what the hell just happened. Once the black fog clears, the black side begins to melt. All the dark aura from the eternal flame concentrates in one place and transforms into the mana crystal. The intense heat then melts the unknown metal. Seo Jun uses the melted metal to start crafting his new spear. Unbeknownst to Seo Jun, two mysterious figures were watching him from behind. They were Eartha and Layla. Eartha's mouth was wide open in shock as she watched Seo Jun melting the unknown metal and creating a new weapon for himself. Eartha was utterly stunned. She had known Seo Jun might someday achieve such a feat, but seeing it happen left her speechless. Meanwhile, Layla, like a proud mother, commented on how strict and focused Seo Jun had become in his work. She noted that he was so absorbed that he didn't even notice who was fucking standing behind him. With a kind and affectionate tone, Layla remarked that she was so proud of Seo Jun, her little boy Seo Jun. The scene shifts, and we see that Seo Jun has finally completed a legendary weapon. Its name is Spear of Annihilation. Its attack power is an astonishing 3,700. Its critical damage increases by 70%. This masterpiece was forged from an otherworldly material by Earth's greatest artisan. However, the weapon is not yet complete. A system notification informs Seo Jun of its incomplete status. Seo Jun, confused, wonders what might be missing. Then he remembers. Perhaps enhancing the weapon with mana could complete it. As Seo Jun turns back, he suddenly sees Layla standing right in front of him. Seo Jun stares at her in disbelief, wondering if he has been working too fucking hard and is now seeing an illusion. But Sugar Mommy Layla calls out to Seo Jun with a big, wide smile, speaking emotionally, saying, "She is finally fucking back!" Seo Jun looks at her entire body, unable to believe it. She is really standing there. For the first time in 2 months, Seo Jun feels shy looking at a woman, and his little PP woke up from slumber. Seo Jun asks again, hesitantly, if Layla has really returned. Layla, equally emotional, confirms that she is truly there. Both of them hug tightly, their emotions overwhelming them. Layla says it feels as though more than 100 years have passed since she last saw him. Meanwhile, Eartha is clearly feeling a bit jealous. Seo Jun, at first, doesn't notice her, but then shifts his attention and warmly welcomes Eartha back, too. He asks Eartha if she is safe and smiles, praising her with a heartfelt, "Good work." He thanks Eartha for her help, making her genuinely happy. The scene shifts again, and we see all three of them sitting together, drinking tea, sharing a moment of peace and camaraderie. While sipping, Seo Jun jokes that he now has double the burden. Layla, annoyed, retorts that being called a burden is what he says after not seeing her for so long. Eartha explains that the heavens have decided to send as many angels as necessary to investigate the abnormalities on Earth. Seo Jun replies that even they don't know what's going on. Eartha nods and says that there's a high chance the same thing could happen again. Seo Jun taunts that the heavens can't do much. They don't know the cause and can't prevent it from happening either. Heaven is really not doing their work properly. On the other hand, Layla was clearly pouting in anger, thinking she worked her ass off in heaven for Seo Jun, and now they're already talking about work. Blah, 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 blah. Ha, hearing this, Eartha silently agrees, saying that heaven is really a big mess. This makes Seo Jun surprised. He asks what's wrong with her, wondering why she wasn't pissed off at hearing bad words about the heavens, as she would have been before. Though frustrated internally, Eartha calmly explains that he's now an ally of the heavens. She doesn't need to defend them anymore. Plus, he saved her life. That moment changed his relationship with the heavens significantly. Hearing this, Seo Jun feels happy and jokingly asks about his reward, saying, "Can you make my little pee-pee big? Can you make my bag rot-proof?" Eartha pauses for a moment, clearly pissed off, and replies asking if he would be satisfied with just that. Both Seo Jun and Layla fall silent. Seo Jun wonders if this is a prank and why Eartha is being so kind, while Layla, in the background, was feeling left out. Eartha uses her skill and says that what he has done is praiseworthy. She then makes his bag rot-proof, making Seo Jun very happy, like he had gained a big trophy. Quietly, Eartha adds that he deserves more than this, and that this isn't all. Eartha then turns to Layla and says that now it's her turn to give Seo Jun her gift. Hearing this, Seo Jun feels shy, his heart pounding. Meanwhile, Sugar Mommy Layla, with a shy and adorable face while playing with her hair, came close to Seo Jun to give him his special gift. Layla shyly walks towards Seo Jun. Seeing her approach like this, getting so close, his mind starts racing with naughty thoughts. He wonders, is today the day? Is his cherry finally going to pop? His face flushes red and he starts blushing like crazy. Layla softly asks him if he's ready. Seo Jun, clueless about what she's really referring to, with his heart beating and his breathing heavy, eagerly agrees, saying he's hell ready. Suddenly, Layla beams with excitement and tells Seo Jun to open his subclass window. Seo Jun is startled, completely caught off guard. Eartha chuckles awkwardly and teases him, asking what's wrong with him. Was Seo Jun expecting a different kind of reward? Seo Jun feels embarrassed, realizing Eartha is thoroughly enjoying the situation. System windows begin appearing one after another, leaving Seo Jun completely bewildered. The text reads, Angel's Partner. Seo Jun is confused and has no idea what it means. Eartha starts explaining the concept in detail, but Seo Jun still doesn't get it. Finally, Rita simplifies it. Basically, it means she and he will be together forever. Hearing this, Seo Jun appears disappointed and mutters that he didn't need something like this. Rita's face falls. She looks heartbroken and devastated by his words. Seo Jun, in his head, rationalizes that Rita wouldn't be particularly helpful in a fight. With tears forming, Rita admits he's right. She's pretty useless to him. Even Eartha, feeling a bit defensive, chimes in, admitting that while she was a burden during the fight against the Reaper, she's been supportive in every other situation. Seo Jun stays silent for a moment, letting the tension rise before suddenly bursting into laughter. He reveals that he was just joking. There's no way he wouldn't be happy about this partnership. He just wanted to see their reactions. Rita, furious at his prank, scolds him angrily, her face bright red with a mix of embarrassment and annoyance. Seo Jun taps the system window, and a bright light shines around them. A new notification appears. He has become an Angel's Partner. He can form a partnership with up to 2 angels. All stats will increase by 30% when fighting breakers and undead. He has also obtained the passive skill, Angel's Blessing. Chances of receiving critical hits decrease by 30%, curse tolerance increases by 30%, and all quest rewards increase by 30%. This skill has no levels but can be developed by fulfilling specific requirements. Another notification follows. Angel's Support. This active skill allows him to borrow an angel's power during battles in abandoned worlds, depending on the skill's proficiency. The skill grows stronger the more time he spends with angels. He is currently partnered with Angel Rita and Angel Eartha. Reading all this, Seo Jun thinks to himself, this feels like a party system. I can even see Rita's and Eartha's statuses here. And a 30% stat boost when fighting breakers and undead? That's fucking amazing! Overjoyed, Seo Jun pulls both of them into a tight hug. Seeing him so happy, both Rita and Eartha can't help but smile. Seo Jun curiously asks if this angel's support skill can be trained. Rita nods and confirms that it can. Then, with a mischievous glint in her eyes, Rita leans in and adds, the deeper his connection with an angel, the faster the skill grows. She gives him a cheeky grin and slyly remarks, like just now she'll suck him dry. Seo Jun stares at her, his face red as he processes her words and thinks, why the fuck does it feel like she's about to eat me alive? Eartha quickly changes the subject, saying that's all for the rewards and that she looks forward to continuing to work with him. Excitedly, Layla shouts, bursting with energy, that they should play now. Seojun nods and agrees, saying, okay, but first he needs to finish mana-crafting the thorn spear, making the harpoon, and refining the troll blood. Hearing this, Layla pouts in frustration, clearly disappointed, saying Seojun had become a workaholic. Meanwhile, Seojun focuses on his weapon crafting, performing mana crafting on the spear. Holding it firmly in his hands, he thinks to himself, reveal all the skills of the Grim Reaper. Layla and Eartha watch in amazement as a powerful aura begins to radiate from the spear. Layla excitedly turns to Eartha, practically bouncing, and exclaims, look at their Seojun! He's capable of super difficult mana crafting now. Eartha calmly replies, the heavens gave him a quest, and he learns fast. The spear's aura grows even more intense. A system window appears notifying Dark Grim Reaper's extinct dragon thorn spear has been completed. The spear had many amazing effects, but the weird part was when fighting dragons and the Blade of Revenge waits for the moment it can slice the throat of a dragon. Reading this, Seojun is astonished and wonders aloud why the hell is there an option about dragons? Layla inspects the spear closely and comments, she thinks he delved too deep into its records. It seems like Leda Korea's world fell because of dragons. Her dying wish to kill dragons and protect her world must have embedded this option into the spear. Seojun nervously responds, so this happened because he unlocked its potential powers too much? Eartha nods and explains, his manacraft was too successful that his spear got its own will. Layla chimes in, saying it might be helpful someday, but dragons are at least of tertiary class. Seojun, clearly frustrated, shouts, she's missing the point. This is definitely a damn foreshadowing. Seojun, now worried, anxiously says, he has to face dragons when he's this weak. This is fucking hopeless. Eartha tries to reassure him, saying they'll manage somehow, though her voice betrays her own worry, but Mommy Layla, clearly irritated by their spiraling panic, snaps, why the fuck are they both stressing about this already? There's still a long way to go before he faces dragons. Hearing this, Seojun and Eartha take a deep breath and calm down a bit, though the tension lingers in the air.